Chapter 873. Peak of the initial stage of the Earth, celestial stage. Shaoqing, did you trigger the divine punishment here? After entering the VIP room, Chen Hao looked at Fan Shaoqing, who had tied up her long hair and was full of femininity, and asked. No, the supervisor brought me into the planet to trigger it. Master. Thank you. Fan Shaoqing lowered her head and didn't dare to look at Chen Hao. They were only together for a short time, and they didn't know much about each other. They were separated for 6 years, and during these 6 years, the man in front of her carried the supreme glory and the aura of a superior. This made Fan Shaoqing, who was born in a humble family, nervous. Thank me for what? You don't have to be nervous. Chen Hao touched Fan Shaoqing's head and gently pulled her into his arms. He could feel Fan Shaoqing's trembling body and said softly. Well, Master, the supervisor told me everything about you. The head of the Fan family personally met me in the second world and asked me to tell Master that when you come out, you must enter the second world and contact him. He said that he has something important to tell you. Oh? The head of the Fan family is Fan Donglio's grandfather? Chen Hao asked. Although he was familiar with Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing, his understanding of the Fan family was limited. No, it's Miss Donglio's great-grandfather. He said it's about the battle between the Happy Valley and Master in 10 years. Hearing Fan Shaoqing's words, Chen Hao frowned slightly. Was the battle in 10 years still a big deal to him? Not to mention that everyone just called him the god of killing. Even if this didn't happen, Chen Hao could imagine that his every move in the primitive mystic realm would have been spread to the vast universe galaxy. With the combat power he showed, Chen Hao wasn't conceited, but how powerful could a sect like the Happy Valley invite a divine immortal? The head of the Fan family must know this, and because of this, Chen Hao felt strange. Okay. Let's go in together. Take me to see him. Okay. This time, Chen Hao directly used the spirit helmet of the true body. His essence, qi, and spirit were suddenly released. At the same time, he offered up a drop of essence blood. In an instant, the helmet of the spirit helmet bloomed with an incomparably bright light. Fan Shaoqing, who was beside Chen Hao, opened her mouth wide in shock. That aura was too powerful for her. At least, none of the heavenly immortal realm experts she had seen could compare to Chen Hao. As soon as Chen Hao entered, countless notifications sounded. The latest ones were from Long Ting, Long Yi, Pan Long, Du Jing, Pan Dong Lu, Pan Dong Sheng, Lan Feng, and a few others. There were also a few cultivators that Chen Hao was familiar with, but he had never interacted with them. He had only given them his contact number before he left. Chen Hao quickly read the messages. Long Ting, Pan Long, and the others naturally invited Chen Hao to meet in the second world. As for the astounding Thunder Legion, the friends he had made under Li Yuan's identity were full of surprise and disbelief. Their words were full of praise and admiration. The other tens of thousands of messages made Chen Hao's heart feel warm. Those were the messages he had received since 4 years ago. They were all from the senior members of the Proud Heaven Legion. They were constantly reporting to him about their situation. What touched Chen Hao the most was his sister Qin Yen. She sent him a message almost every day. It was only half a month ago that she stopped. Looking at his sister's detailed report, which revealed her deep longing for him, as well as her subtle expression of her feelings, a faint smile appeared on the corners of Chen Hao's mouth as he shook his head. His sister had grown up. It was just like his premonition. His sister's feelings for him were no longer as simple as that of siblings. Chen Hao couldn't describe how he felt. In his memory, his sister was still a little girl who hadn't grown up. What they had was true family love. As for love, the love between a man and a woman, to be honest, Chen Hao really didn't have that. But he would never let his sister be sad in the slightest. There was no reason for him to accept it. Moreover, he believed that this kind of familial love could be transformed into the love between a man and a woman. It was a very simple matter. After all, they weren't related by blood. Otherwise, his sister wouldn't have such feelings for him. Chen Hao was multitasking. In a moment, he replied one after another. He told Long Ting, Pan Long, and the others that he was going to meet the patriarch of the Fan family. He also notified Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing. As for his younger brother, sister, Huyen Aobua, and the other senior members of the Proud Heaven Legion, Chen Hao directly told them to wait for him at the Wuji base on the Yang planet. He thought that he would soon receive a reply or even a communication request, but to Chen Hao's surprise, his younger brother, sister, Huyen Aobua, and the others didn't reply. Chen Hao didn't think too much about it. He first contacted Fan Shaoqing. Then, Chen Hao directly took the teleportation array and went to East Flow City. Brother Hao. Boss! Master. When Chen Hao arrived at East Flow City, Fan Donglu, Fan Dongxing, and Chen Hao, Fan Shaoqing had taken the initiative to follow Chen Hao's surname, were already waiting at the exit of the teleportation array. When they saw him, the three of them directly greeted him. Brother Hao, the patriarch has already contacted me. He's waiting for you at the base, Fan Donglu said. I didn't expect Brother Hao to know Shaoqing, ahem. It's a coincidence. Don't snitch to your sisters-in-law for the time being. I'll tell them myself. Chen Hao smiled slightly and pulled Fan Shaoqing back. Fan Donglu curled his lips. Although he didn't show anything on the surface, and he already had an accurate position of himself, it would be strange if he wasn't jealous of Fan Shaoqing in his heart. She was a dignified young lady. Whether it was appearance, talent, or status, she was several times better than Fan Shaoqing, but she didn't have Fan Shaoqing's life. Master. Shaoqing is just your servant. Mistress. Mistress won't blame Shaoqing, right? Fan Shaoqing said with a red face. No. It's just that I didn't have time to tell them. Okay, let's go. Boss, your battle record and contribution points are as lonely as snow. Although I expected it, I didn't expect it to be so high. Boss, you've rested for 600 or 700 years. Fan Dongxing had already received the statistical information on the pagoda monument and was extremely excited. Even his achievements were extremely dazzling, making more than 90% of the disciples of the Divine Temple blush with shame. And he knew that all of this was because he followed the right boss. Haha, there's a lot you can't imagine. However, the statistical ability of this token is really abnormal. Chen Shaoqing obediently followed behind Chen Hao. In front of others, she didn't dare to have any intimate actions. Although she knew that Chen Hao wouldn't have any objections if she held on to Chen Hao's arm, she was very clear about her position. She didn't want Chen Hao to have any difficulties because of her. This is Chen Hao, brother Chen, right? Ha ha. You're indeed a dragon among men. When Chen Hao's group of 4 appeared at the enormous encampment of the Fan family at East Flow City in the Second World, a sage-like old man stroked his long beard and stared at Chen Hao with bright eyes as he enthusiastically said. Chapter 874. Great-grandfather. Why are you calling him that? Brother Hao is our boss. Pan Dong Lu suddenly rushed to the old man's side like a little bird and said frankly, You guys do what you need to do. Great-grandfather will do what he needs to do. Heroes don't matter how old they are. Family leader Fan, please don't kill me. Donglu and Dongxing are my brothers and sisters. I really don't deserve to be called that. Chen Hao cupped his fists and bowed. He didn't expect that the family leader of the Fan family would welcome a little sky immortal like him at the door. This was a true master of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm. Normal people didn't even have the right to see him, but the family leader of the Fan family not only welcomed him at the door, but also called him brother. This was too warm, haha. That's good too. It is Dong Lu and Dong Xing's good fortune to have a big brother like you. Come, let's go in and talk. Family head Fan heard Chen Hao's words and was slightly taken aback. Then, the smile on his face became more sincere as he waved his hand and said, Brother Hao, this is my grandfather, these are my parents. Boss, this is my grandfather. Although there were many people welcoming Chen Hao, only the direct elders of Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing could enter the core palace with the family leader of the Fan family. After Chen Hao was forced to the VIP seats by the family leader of the Fan family, Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing introduced Chen Hao. Chen Hao, old man will call you by your name. This time, I have to thank you for taking care of Donglu and Dongxing in the primitive secret realm. Without you, I'm afraid they wouldn't have been able to come out. Family leader Fan, you're welcome. Donglu and Dongxing are both core members of the Proud Heavens. It's only right for them to do anything. Family leader Fan, Little Qing said that you're looking for me to talk about the 10-year battle between me and the Valley of Happiness? Chen Hao said. Facing a master of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm, Chen Hao didn't have the slightest reservations. Of course, the main reason was that the other party had concealed his aura. Otherwise, no one would be able to be at ease with just the pressure he emitted. Not bad. Ever since he learned of your relationship with Donglu and Dongxing, old man has been paying attention to your situation and collecting all the information about you. I also heard about your duel with the Valley of Happiness. A while ago, when I was gathering with a few old friends, I happened to hear some things. I'm afraid that your duel with the Valley of Happiness has already evolved into the revenge of a few top clans and sects. I believe that you can guess which clans and sects it is. Chen Hao frowned slightly and responded. Because of the battle techniques and contribution points you obtained, you received the highest level of protection from the temple, so they didn't dare to act recklessly. That's why they made an issue out of your 10-year battle with the Valley of Happiness, and it's a battle to the death. Upon hearing Family Head Fan's words, Chen Hao's eyes shone with pride as he said confidently, "It doesn't matter. Since they want to make use of this arranged battle, then they can only send a Heavenly Celestial Stage expert to deal with me. Heavenly Celestial Stage is nothing to me." That's right. Brother Hao can even kill a mid-stage Daluo Jinxian easily, let alone a Heavenly Celestial Stage expert. Pan Donglu said. That's right, Family Head. Boss was able to dominate the 10 major galaxies of the primal mystic realm. He's definitely not someone that the Heavenly Celestial Stage experts of their clans and sects can contend with, you guys. If it's really that simple, why would I, your great-grandfather, look for your boss? Chen Hao, your aura is indeed very strong. Although you've hidden it, in old man's eyes, it's not completely undetectable, but at least it's not far from the mark. And this time, the Heavenly Celestial Stage expert they've invited to duel with you is the temple's #1 Heavenly Celestial Stage genius, Xiao Yan. Ah! Upon hearing Family Head Fan's words, Pan Donglu cried out in surprise, looking extremely shocked. Fan Dongxing and Chen Hao were puzzled. Obviously, the two of them did not know much about the temple's #1 Heavenly Celestial Stage genius, Xiao Yan. From Pan Donglu's expression, it could be seen that Xiao Yan was definitely not simple. However, he still could not cause any waves in Chen Hao's heart. This was the confidence of a powerhouse. Fan Dongxing, who did not know who Xiao Yan was, had absolute confidence in his boss, Chen Hao. Donglu, can't boss deal with him? As long as he's a Heavenly Celestial, I don't think there's anyone who can be boss's opponent. Fan Dongxing looked at Pan Donglu and said, Xiao Yan, the #1 genius of the Xiao family, the #1 family in the vast universe galaxy. He's less than 1,000 years old, but he's already at the peak of the late-stage Heavenly Celestial Stage. It's said that 100 years ago, he had the strength to kill a mid-stage Daluo Jinxian. No one in the temple dares to provoke him, not only because of his strength, but also because of the Xiao family's background. Half of the temple can be said to belong to the Xiao family. Pan Donglu said solemnly. That's right. Hearing Pan Donglu's words, the Fan family's patriarch showed a look of approval. As the #1 genius of the Fan family, she received education in all aspects, especially information about the top geniuses of the vast universe galaxy. It was one of the compulsory courses. Now, Xiao Yan has reached the peak of the heavenly celestial stage and can step into the ranks of Daluo Jingxian at any time. You have to be fully prepared. This is very unfair to you, and it may cause irreparable consequences. Although our fan family is the #1 family in East Flow City, we can't shake them at all. It's even more impossible to deter them. So, if you can use your background, it's best to use it. The fan family's patriarch stared at Chen Hao and said meaningfully. Now, all kinds of information about Chen Hao, although they did not dare to say that they had dug 3 feet into the ground, many suspicious points had been exposed. No one thought that Chen Hao did not have any background, but as for what his background was, no one knew for the time being. Understood. To be honest, I don't know if my background is useful or not, and I can't take the initiative to contact him. Thank you for reminding me, Patriarch Fan. Then what do you plan to do? At the same level, I have no reason not to fight, Chen Hao said with a slight smile. Chen Hao, if you can't get Xiao Yan to reject you, I suggest that you temporarily avoid the battle. This is a life and death battle. Even if you have the strength to kill Xiao Yan, what are the consequences? Moreover, Xiao Yan's background is very strong. Now, even Daluo Jingxian at the late stage might not be his match. And although you have obtained 1,000 years of experience in the primal secret realm, it is still a bit rushed. Looking at Chen Hao's calm expression and the sharp glint in his eyes, Patriarch Fan reminded him again. I'm afraid I don't have a choice. Fighting openly is better than them scheming in the dark, Chen Hao said with a frown. Patriarch Fan, everyone, my brothers and sisters in proud heaven are waiting for me. Goodbye, thank you. Wait, this is the information Old Man collected. Perhaps it will be of some help to you, Qi. A milky white light floated in front of Chen Hao. Thank you. After Chen Hao absorbed it into his forehead, he pulled Chen Shaoqing, cupped his fists to everyone, and flew into the sky. Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing also followed closely behind. Chapter 875. Master, I'll leave first. When the 4 of them arrived at the teleportation array, Chen Shaoqing saw Chen Hao looking at her. Smart as she was, she turned into a ray of white light and disappeared from the second world. Chen Hao was taken aback for a moment. He shook his head and stepped into the teleportation array with Pan Donglu and Pan Dongxing, heading straight for Vast Universe City. Boss, we'll wait for you at the entrance of the Alliance Teleportation Center. As soon as they stepped out of the teleportation array, Du Jing contacted Chen Hao and said excitedly. Du Jing was the disciple of the Valley Master of Poison King Valley. Before he stepped into the primitive secret realm, he was the #1 genius of Poison King Valley. Now that he had improved tremendously, his status in Poison King Valley was even higher. Now, everyone was still on the aircraft returning to Vast Universe System. After entering the second world in advance, the gathering was set at Vast Universe City's Poison King Valley encampment. Chen Hao, Fan Donglu, and Fan Dongxing had just come out when Long Ting, like an arrow leaving the bow, directly jumped into Chen Hao's arms. Du Jing, Pan Long, Lan Feng, Long Yi, as well as Chun Ling and Li Yang, who were easily brought back by Du Jing and had obtained the Spirit Realm helmets, also excitedly came to greet them. Senior brother, it's not over yet? Pan Long lowered his head and bent his waist, sensing Chen Hao's restrained aura. He could tell at a glance that Chen Hao was still in the transcendent mortal state. It's not that easy. Boss, Brother Pan, let's go to our Poison King Valley encampment first. Let's go. Du Jing looked at the countless cultivators around him, and said telepathically, Okay. More than 10 minutes later, everyone took the teleportation array and arrived outside Vast Universe City, at the entrance of a palace complex in the Cloud Mountain Range. It was many times bigger than the Fan family encampment in East Flow City. From this, it could be seen how high the status of Poison King Valley was in vast universe system. Boss, my master wants to see you. There's something important, Chen Hao frowned slightly. From Du Jing's expression, he could vaguely guess that he should be similar to the head of the Fan family. The truth was just as Chen Hao expected. However, the valley head of the Poison King Valley was obviously much more powerful than the Fan family head. Furthermore, unlike the hasty meeting between the Fan family head and Chen Hao, the valley head of the Poison King Valley should have already discussed the situation with Du Jing and understood more about Chen Hao's situation. He did not ask Chen Hao to avoid the fight, but only told Chen Hao not to underestimate his opponent. Boss! Boss! When Chen Hao, Du Jing, and the others arrived at a huge palace, thousands of young cultivators stood up at the same time and shouted excitedly at Chen Hao. At a glance, Chen Hao recognized less than 1/10 of them. Chen Hao had never seen most of them before. These were the elites selected by Du Jing and Lan Feng, who were mainly in charge of the outer members of Proud Sky, to become core members. Sensing the auras of the crowd, a sharp glint flashed across Chen Hao's eyes. Even though he was still in his transcendent mortal state, everyone in the hall felt as though they had been seen through. The noisy hall immediately fell silent. Boss, these are the elites of Proud Sky. Everyone, listen up. From front to back, from left to right, introduce yourselves one by one. Let boss know who you are. Yes. Sit down. Since you're all here, you must be the elites of Proud Sky. I believe that Du Jing and Lan Feng's judgment is correct. I know many of you here. Now that we've stepped out of the primal secret realm, we'll be going our separate ways. Don't forget the friendship we once had. If there's any trouble in the future, that's enough. There's no need for introductions. Boss, hearing Chen Hao's words, Du Jing and Lan Feng's expressions changed slightly. They wanted to say something, but Chen Hao waved his hand to stop them. I know what you're thinking. However, we're still not strong enough. The strongest among us is only at Heavenly Immortal Realm. You can register for a guardian group first. When we're strong enough, we can establish the Proud Sky Legion, a real legion. We can also establish a sect. But now, what can we do if we stick together? Relying on people, the heavens, or background? It's useless. Only by being strong can we be considered strong. Boss, you mean we should register for a guardian group, develop separately, and then merge? That's right. We're still young. If we band together too early, we'll miss out on many things. Of course, I'm not disbanding. Keep in touch and develop on your own. If you encounter any trouble that you can't solve, you can contact Du Jing or Lan Feng. The prerequisite is that you don't go against the principles of Proud Sky. Don't worry, boss. Alright, let's drink to our heart's content today. Alright. The banquet lasted for 3 days. Chen Hao wasn't afraid. Even though it was a virtual wine from the second world, it was no different from real wine due to the uniqueness of the second world. Even Chen Hao was dizzy from drinking, but he maintained his sobriety from beginning to end. During the drinking session, Chen Hao didn't show the slightest arrogance of a god of slaughter. He didn't even say anything. However, it was precisely because of this that everyone present felt flattered. This was the god of slaughter who deterred the 10 galaxies, and they were able to drink with him and call him brother. Beep, beep, beep. When everyone dispersed and Chen Hao was about to exit the second world, he received a communication request in his mind. Senior brother. Junior brother. Senior brother, I was just about to contact you. I just came out of the primitive mystic realm and returned to the aircraft. Haha, junior brother, congratulations. Your second senior brother and I have calculated everything, but we still underestimated you. I didn't expect you to achieve such glory. It's just SOSO. Senior brother, you've already advanced to Daluo Jinxian. I'm still a small heavenly immortal. You can sense that? Gu Chen was slightly surprised. This was the second world. They didn't meet but only communicate. Moreover, he entered with the cultivation of a heavenly immortal. Senior brother, you're in high spirits as if you're decades younger. Can't I guess? When you come back, settle the matter in the Valley of Happiness first. After Yuanru comes out, the four of us can have a good gathering. About your master Han Mei. I just learned a little from Yunwei. I didn't expect her to be samsara. You and Chen Shui should know her true identity, right? I really don't know. Senior brother, let's talk about it when I get back. Send my regards to second senior brother. Okay. By the way, senior brother, can you help me find out where my younger siblings and Huyen Aobo are training? I received a message from them a few days ago, but now I can't contact any of them. Oh? Okay. I'll go check now. I'll send you a message later. Okay. After cutting off the communication, Chen Hao shook his head, feeling a little uneasy. Eldest senior brother Gu Chen obviously didn't know that the matter in the Valley of Happiness had evolved into a top-sex revenge against him. Chen Yan, Chen Nan, and the others knew that he was about to come out. Logically speaking, they should be guarding the second world. Why weren't they all there? Chen Hao didn't care at first, but now that he knew that a top sect wanted to deal with him, he couldn't ignore it. I hope they didn't do it. Two cold rays of light flashed in Chen Hao's eyes. He turned into a white light and disappeared from the second world. Chapter 876. The tree wanted peace, but the wind did not stop. Chen Hao did not expect his peaceful cultivation to be disrupted as soon as he stepped out of the primitive realm. Phew, master, Chen Shaoqing saw Chen Hao let out a long sigh of relief and took off the spirit helmet. She obediently walked behind Chen Hao and gently massaged Chen Hao's shoulders with practiced hands. She could feel the boundless fighting spirit surging under Chen Hao's calm appearance. However, she did not know how to comfort him and could not help in any way. Shaoqing, call the manager of the Fan family over. I have something to discuss with him. Okay. Master, please wait for a moment. Chen Shaoqing did not dare to ask more and quickly walked out of the cultivation room. A moment later, the manager who had been in contact with Chen Hao quickly followed Chen Shaoqing. Brother Chen, if there's anything you need, feel free to tell me. As long as it's within my power, I'll do my best. Even if I can't, the captain and the others will fully support you. Everyone on this aircraft is on our side. The steward said respectfully before Chen Hao could say anything. Thank you. I'm relieved to hear that. It's like this, I want to leave the aircraft alone. Chen Hao's words caused the manager to cry out in surprise. Chen Xiaoqing's expression also changed. I have a miniature aircraft. Its performance and speed are not worse than this aircraft. Chen Hao said bluntly. I know that, but, Brother Chen, it's at least half a year's journey from here to the vast universe galaxy. If you leave alone, you'll use up a lot of energy. Moreover, there are many risks in the chaotic space. Without the Supreme of Hongmeng, it'll be very dangerous, I know that. But I don't have time. I hope you can let me leave quietly. I don't want to disturb outsiders. Brother Chen, you've decided. Yes. All right then, the Patriarch has instructed that if you have any needs, I'll fulfill them. I'll talk to the captain. Brother Chen, be careful, you're pregnant. Don't be targeted. Don't worry. This is a small token of my appreciation. As for the captain, I'll have to trouble Senior. Chen Hao immediately took out 20 drops of Emperor Jade Marrow and floated them in front of the manager. Emperor Chalcedony? That won't do. Brother Chen, let alone me, even the captain wouldn't dare to take your things. If the clan head finds out, it will be terrible. Take it. This is just a small token of my appreciation. Besides, it's nothing to me. How can I accept this? Don't be so polite, we're all family. Alright. Thank you, Brother Chen. I'll go look for the captain now. The steward's eyes lit up as he carefully stored the Emperor Jade Marrow into his mind. Even for him, such a precious item was something that could only be found by chance. Even the captain of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm was no exception. Of course, if the Supreme of Hongming used it, it wouldn't have much effect. But who didn't have descendants and disciples? This was a heaven-defying saint-grade spirit herb, and Chern Hao had taken out 20 drops of it. He was too generous. He knew about the situation in the primitive mystic realm. Ordinary cultivators couldn't even get 1 drop. It was already good enough for a legion commander to get a few drops. Many important people were already tempted to buy it from cultivators in the primitive mystic realm for their disciples. Even now, he was still in contact with other cultivators on the aircraft to buy ancient treasures and spirit herbs. The Emperor Jade Marrow was what he wanted the most. But most people didn't have enough for themselves. They didn't even have a single drop. Master, Shaoqing, can I follow you? Did I say I want you to stay? Chern Hao looked at Fan Shaoqing, who was about to cry, and smiled. Of course I want to take you with me. However, you heard what the manager said just now. It's very dangerous. Shaoqing isn't afraid. As long as I can stay by your side and serve you, Shaoqing is willing to die. Chern Shaoqing said firmly. Don't worry. As long as I don't die, you won't die. Thank you, Master. An hour later, the captain of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm personally blocked all auras and opened the front hatch of the aircraft. Chern Hao and Chern Shaoqing activated Xiaoji No. 1 and left quietly. Junior brother, this is bad. As soon as they left the Alliance aircraft, Chern Hao logged into the second world. After seeing the message left by Gu Chen, he immediately sent a communication request. Senior brother, what's the situation? Your younger siblings, Huyen Aobua, and the others were originally training in the northern mystic domain of the Yang planet. That place can connect to the second world at any time. Moreover, for their cultivation, it's not very dangerous. But now they can't be contacted. Lu Qingyang and Guan Nanchao learned from the Wuji Elite Academy that Mo Yui, Dongfang Jian, Xiao Mei, and all the others related to you have disappeared. They were supposed to come to the Yang planet in a few days. Gu Chen's words made Chern Hao, who had always been calm and mentally prepared after reading the message, lose his cool at this moment. Just from the image and the look in his eyes, Gu Chen sensed a murderous aura that made even him, a Daluo Jinxian, feel aghast. Chern Hao's handsome face trembled slightly. He gritted his teeth and did not say a word. In this situation, Gu Chen could not help but call out worriedly. I understand, senior brother, Qi. Chern Hao said only one sentence and then cut off the communication. When Gu Chen sent a communication request again, there was no response. Master, Qi. Chern Shaoqing was forced into a corner of the aircraft by the terrifying pressure emanating from Chern Hao. Both his soul and physical body were unable to move, and he was on the verge of exploding. At this time, Chern Shaoqing could only struggle and shout through the soul contract in the depths of his mind. A wisp of intelligence flashed across Chern Hao's scarlet eyes. The killing intent that had materialized between his eyebrows suddenly disappeared. At the same time, he sent out a dazzling energy to wrap Qi. I'm sorry, Qi. It's all right, Master. Go to my macro world and practice on your own. I'll provide you with spiritual herbs, spiritual spring, and magic weapons. Master, can I do anything for you? Just practice at ease. I'll come to you when I need you. Go in first. Qi. Follow the fleet alone. When you reach the vast universe galaxy, send a message to Panlong, Du Jing, Lan Feng, and the others. Mobilize all the forces they can to go to the Yang city. Also tell Qi. Yes, Master. Old God, come out. Buzz. When the hatch of Qi 1 opened, Qi. Go to the Yang planet at full speed. Qi. Chi. Do your best to help me refine these things. Use the stored materials as you please. Don't worry about wasting them. Chi. Chi. Master, your state of mind. F***ck your state of mind. Cut the crap. Release all the pressure. Okay, after handing over control to treasure hunting sword spirit, he began to refine according to Chern Hao's instructions. The old god wasn't stupid. After being with Chern Hao for so many years, he knew all of Chern Hao's secret. But now, Chern Hao wanted him to refine something at all cost. Even the old god was trembling all over. Only the word crazy could describe it. Oh, my reverse scale, I seem to have seen the purgatory of the mortal realm. Only such a master is worthy of being entrusted with everything. To be able to be master's brother and sister is already a blessing. So what if he's the supreme of Hongmeng? So what if they were a top sect? Since this world, this universe, has touched master's reverse scale, it must be bathed in blood. I know the consequences are serious, but why am I so excited? Boss, what's going on? I've never seen Master so angry. Motherf*** cur, control it with all your might. Don't ask about things you shouldn't know. Boss, I'm just concerned about Master. With my current abilities, I should be able to help Master. Help my ass. Control it with all your might. Whenever you sense a direction that's beneficial to Master, get closer. After this, Master will help you refine your strongest body. Cough cough. Tell me about it. If I don't know, I won't feel at ease. In short, there's a blind supreme of Hongmeng and a top sect that has touched Master's siblings and friends. Ah? Then Master, even the heavens cannot touch him. They all deserve to die. Do your job. Is Master's father a useless person? Coiling Dragon, Du Jing and the rest's background is not to be trifled with. As for Master, I won't hide it from you. With my help, you just wait and see how this little immortal wreaks havoc in vast universe galaxy. Motherf*** cur. Motherf*** cur. I understand. In the second world, Du Jing, Coiling Dragon, Lan Feng, Long Yi, Long Ting and the rest were gathered in a private room in a tavern on Vast Universe Star. Boss must be training with all his might, Du Jing said. And, with Xiao Yan's strength, even Senior Brother doesn't dare to underestimate him. However, I believe Senior Brother will win. Coiling Dragon said. But this is a life and death battle. Xiao Yan's background is too strong. The #1 family in Vast Universe Star, half of the temple is under the Xiao family's control. Even if Master wins, he will be bullied. Brother Pan, why don't you contact your Man Wang tribe? Master's matter might involve the upper echelons. Du Jing said. Do I need you to tell me that? I've already contacted them. Wait for their reply. Our Man Wang tribe has been in seclusion for too long. Even if I come out this time, they won't pay much attention to me. When the contact person comes to the second world, it will be fine. I've also contacted them. Lan Feng said. Author's note. Proud Heaven is already in the middle and late stages of writing. Also, the hard part is that the results are very bad. Traditional Chinese publishing will also be reduced in price from now on. It's not easy to support a family. The right way to go is to write a new book after finishing it hastily. However, Dark Mountain doesn't want to disappoint the brothers and sisters who have been following Proud Heaven for so long. I will follow the preset outline and finish it completely, doing my best to write it well. However, my income has decreased sharply and I have to maintain my life. Therefore, I hope everyone can understand that Dark Mountain has to slow down Proud Heaven's update and use part of my energy on the idea and writing of the new book. From now on, I will only write 1 chapter per day, about 3,000 words. Brothers and sisters who can't wait can read it later. I also hope that everyone will support Dark Mountain. Thank you. Chapter 877. Donglu and Dongxing already know. I want to do something. A fierce glint flashed in Du Jing's eyes as he looked at everyone. You mean the other members of Aotion? Let's not tell boss about this. We'll do it in private. Hu Mainyang's relationship with boss is obvious. Whether she supports it or not, we have to contact her. It's good that she supports it, but if she doesn't, she can't blame us for not telling her. My position in the Demise sect is low. The only one I can ask is my master, Xiesun. Let's see how much he can help me. Long Yi said. Don't contact Bailey Ningbing. Moling Takshu is the #1 genius of the Perpetual Life sect. It's good enough that she doesn't cause trouble. It's not likely that we'll ask them for help. Lan Feng and the outer members of Aotion are familiar with us. We'll contact them separately and find those with strong and trustworthy backgrounds. No matter what, boss can't lose his prestige in the final battle. Okay. Second World, Vast Universe City, Eternal Life Sect's Core Palace. Disciple Ning Bing greets the sect master. Come in, Chi. A voice filled with boundless majesty and the will of eternity rang out from the core palace. The palace doors shone with dazzling light as they opened. Bailey Ningbing took a deep breath and calmed the anxiety in her heart. She stepped into the palace. Peak late stage, heavenly immortal realm, immortal intent realm breaking through to zenith heaven. Your state of mind and aura are very strong. Very good, your improvement is unexpectedly strong. In just 6 years, you're too kind, sect master. There's no need to say more. I already know about you and Takshu. Takshu was a disciple that I nurtured myself. He was also the future leader of the Perpetual Life sect. But now, he's dead. Sect master, no matter who it is, the Perpetual Life sect will kill them. Otherwise, where will the Perpetual Life sect put its face? Sect master. I'm sorry. You didn't kill him. Why are you sorry? Tell me about your relationship with Chen Hao. I don't know. Bailey Ningbing was trembling in fear in front of the sect master of the Eternal Life sect. Her emotions were complicated. After she stepped out of the primitive mystic realm, she entered the second world and appeared directly at the base of the Eternal Life sect. However, after a few days in the second world, no matter if it was the sect leader, her master, or the cultivators of the Eternal Life sect, none of them came looking for her. It was only today that her master told her that the sect leader had summoned her. This made her feel uneasy. Then what do you know? How much do you know about him? I don't know anything. I don't understand anything. Sect master, the fault is all mine. Senior brother Moling's death was caused by me. If you want to blame someone, blame me. I'm willing to accept any punishment. Bailey Ningbing knelt in front of the sect master, whose face couldn't even be seen clearly, her pretty face pale. I told you, it's not your fault. I didn't call you here to let you bear the responsibility for him. To tell you the truth, the Wan clan, the Bai clan, the Zhao clan, and more than 30 other top forces have already formed an alliance to target Chen Hao. As for me, I haven't agreed yet. I just want an attitude from you. Sect master, get up. I've put in a lot of effort. True geniuses are hard to find. From today onwards, your cultivation will be taught by me personally. Also, from today onwards, you'll cut off all contact with that brat. You can't have anything to do with him anymore. Can you do it? If you can do it, I won't pursue his responsibility anymore. The Eternal Life sect, the Grand Fourth sect, has to have a way out. If you can't do it, then the Eternal Life sect will have to take action. I can do it. Very good. I'll impart to you our sect's supreme art. Don't be distracted and throw yourself into cultivation. From today onwards, you're my personal disciple. All of the Eternal Life sect's cultivation grounds will be open to you unconditionally. I'll check on your progress regularly. Half a year later, when your true body returns, I'll tailor a cultivation and experiential training ground for you. Yes. Chi. An extremely profound white light suddenly floated out from the Eternal Life sect master's forehead, directly entering Bailey Ningbing's mind. Buzz. Bailey Ningbing felt her mind shake, then immediately returned to normal. Apart from an additional set of the Eternal Life sect's supreme arts incantations and images, there was nothing else. Go, with a wave of his hand, Bailey Ningbing was sent out of the core palace. I've always pursued the peak of the martial way, why should I care about love? Moling Ta Shue's death was a blessing in disguise. Bailey Ningbing was still immersed in an inexplicable pain and making a difficult decision. But now, her mind was clear and there was nothing else. Only a strong desire to become stronger made her state of mind and will unprecedentedly clear and firm. Even she herself didn't notice at all how her state of mind changed so quickly. Eternal Life sect master's personal disciple, supreme art. Taking a deep breath, Bailey Ningbing sped towards her palace. An undetectable trace of spirit slowly dissipated, returning to the core palace. The illusory figure gradually became clear. It was an old man with white hair and a youthful complexion, with a devilish smile on his lips. The great Tao is merciless. Every man for himself, and the heavens take the hindmost. With such talent, it won't be difficult to nurture her into a supreme of Hongmeng within 1,000 years. However, the obsession in her soul abode can't be extinguished. Looks like it has to be reformed continuously. A great era is coming. Men. Sect Master. Pass down my orders. From today onward, Bailey Ningbing will be my personal disciple. She will replace Moling Ta Shui. Also, as long as she needs it, the Eternal Life sect will unconditionally open all resources to her. Understood. Call the fourth elder here as well. Understood. Beep, beep, beep. The second world, vast universe city, Misty Rain Pavilion's base. In a huge palace, Hu Mainyang sat cross-legged. Tao laws surged around her and immortal light lingered around her. However, her bright eyes were open and she stared blankly. Her eyebrows were slightly furrowed. It was clear that she was deep in thought. At this moment, a notification sounded in her mind, waking her up with a start. Du Jing? As a famous genius of the Sacred Hall, Du Jing had known Hu Mainyang for a long time, so they had a way to contact each other in the second world. Are you going to talk about Chen Hao? I know. Tell him that Xiao Yan is very strong. Right now I only have a 20% chance of winning, and an 80% chance of losing. He's not much stronger than me. To Du Jing's surprise, Hu Mainyang did not wait for him to speak after picking up the call. When the time comes, I'll rush over in advance. With that, Hu Mainyang cut off the call. Du Jing felt stifled, but he felt slightly comforted. This domineering woman's words were ultimately on his boss's side. Although she did not explicitly say anything, Du Jing already felt pretty good. What's going on? She cut off the call without saying anything? Around him, Coiling Dragon and the others frowned and asked when they saw Du Jing opening his mouth to speak, shaking his head, and then nodding his head. Hu Mainyang already knows. She said she'll rush over in advance. She also told me to tell boss that Xiao Yan is very strong, and with her current strength, she has no chance of winning. She only has a 20% chance of winning. No way? Xiao Yan is that strong? Everyone was shocked. When Hu Mainyang was in the Divine Temple, she came into contact with heavenly immortal geniuses. She's undoubtedly more familiar with Xiao Yan's strength. Moreover, we've received news that Xiao Yan is fighting because of Hu Mainyang. With her innate Taoist embryo, it's very possible that Xiao Yan is moved. To tell you the truth, all the disciples in the Divine Temple are moved. Hu Mainyang is indeed the goddess in everyone's hearts. Beep, beep, beep. While Du Jing was speaking, he was surprised to receive another communication request from Hu Mainyang. Give him my number. Tell him to add me. I have something to tell him personally. Okay. Damn it, why do you have to do this? You're so domineering. Aren't you just trying to get close to our boss? Du Jing said unhappily. As soon as he said, okay, Hu Mainyang cut off the call again. After all, Du Jing was a core member of Proud Heaven, one of the right-hand men of killing god Chen Hao. Even Chen Shui and the other sisters-in-law treated Du Jing as one of their own, let alone Hu Mainyang. What did she say? She told boss to add her. She said she has something to tell him personally. She'll be boss's woman sooner or later. She's not giving me any face. Forget it, I won't lower myself to her level. Let her wait, boss won't even come online now, Du Jing said. Boss is still the best, he can subdue any kind of woman. Send a message to boss. We don't know about the illicit affairs between boss and Hu Mainyang. Maybe it's something that can help boss. Okay, we can only leave a message first. Let's contact the others. Whoosh! Rumble in the chaotic space, Old God's flying body flew at a terrifying speed under the control of Treasure Hunter's sword spirit. He didn't avoid the energy storms at all, and could be described as rampaging. As for Chen Hao, he was challenging his own limit. When his essence, energy, spirit, and true essence were all exhausted, he shielded himself from the pressure and chaotic energy and resumed his cultivation, directly extracting the violent energy. The great Tao rumbled as the Tao manifestation immortal fruit bloomed between his eyebrows. The Tao manifestation immortal fruit core had been in the primitive mystic realm for 1,000 years and had been nurtured by Old God and the supreme grade spirit spring. It had already taken root in his soul, sprouting, blooming, and bearing fruit in his soul abode, growing into a heaven-defying towering tree. Every branch and leaf contained endless Tao laws and boundless vitality. It stretched into the chaotic space, and absorbed the violent energy and complex Tao laws, unaffected by the violent energy. Such a terrifying form and ability left even Chen Hao aghast. He was certain that any one of the branches of the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree was a natural divine weapon. More importantly, it was like a fish in water in this chaotic space that cultivators feared. Many heavenly Tao nomological fragments that Chen Hao couldn't capture could be absorbed by it, allowing Chen Hao to sense them. Similarly, it didn't mind the violent chaotic energy. It ate it all and easily converted it into boundless and pure vitality. Chapter 878. Phew! Chen Hao let out a long sigh of relief. After he recovered from his exhausted and heavily injured state to his peak state, Chen Hao opened his eyes and stared at the branches and leaves of the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree that stretched out into the chaotic spatial storm and emanated a 7-colored radiance, and he seemed to be lost in thought. Chaotic space, chaotic energy. It contains almost all kinds of energy in the world, from low level to high level, from the 5 elements to their derivative energy, to yin and yang, to chaos. It's also because of this that chaotic space can break the shackles of the Tao of heaven and earth and transcend the laws of time and space. The flight speed of the aircraft in the chaotic space had to endure the violent spatial turbulence and storms. There was no doubt that the relative speed was not as fast as in a peaceful part of the universe. However, it was a fact that chaotic space spanned thousands of miles in the universe. This was something that could not be explained by science. It also transcended the laws of time and space. My physical body and soul are much stronger than the average Daluo Jinxian, but it's impossible for me to run amok in the chaotic space by myself. However, the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree can do it like a fish in water. The violent chaotic energy can't harm it at all, and it can directly absorb the endless laws and violent energy contained in it. Chen Hao's eyes sparkled. He took a deep breath and thought to himself, if I can integrate my state into the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree, won't I be able to achieve a state where there are no taboos? Treasure Hunter, open up your defenses. He acted as soon as he thought of it. However, Chern Hao knew very well that it would not be easy to integrate the carving technique and Heart Sutra into the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree. As for him, he was still being crushed by the wheel of fate. What he lacked the most was time. Therefore, he had to combine his cultivation with the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree. He had to do it at the same time without any delay. Yes, master. Boom. As Treasure Hunter's voice echoed, the aircraft's defenses opened. In an instant, Chern Hao was caught in a terrifying pressure and energy storm. At the same time, Chern Hao placed his hands on the thick branches of the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree. The great Tao Sanskrit rumbled as he began a new cultivation method. In the great world in Chern Hao's mind. Huff, huff, walla walla. At the center of the vast and enormous space, the azure blue spirit spring water had now become a vast ocean that was tens of millions of miles wide. The spiritual energy seemed to have substance as it permeated the entire space. On the land there were mountains, rivers, forests, and lakes. Looking down from the void from afar, as long as there was water, it was as if there were meridians and blood vessels connected to the spirit spring sea. The arrangement of every blade of grass and every tree was based on the Chimanduanjia, the 5 elements, and the 8 trigrams. This world was a real macro world, but compared to the natural macro world of stars, it had the charm of a great medium. Not to mention the celestial immortals, even the Supremes of Hongmeng would treat this place as the best holy land for cultivation. Strange flowers and plants filled the mountains and rivers, giving off a strong life force and a strange fragrance of supreme-grade spirit herbs. These strange flowers and plants were all transplanted by Chern Hao from the sect ruins in the primal secret realm and the barren mountains. At the center of the core of the macro world, the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree was rooted at the bottom of the sea and pierced through the cloud. At this moment, because the branches and leaves were in the chaotic space, its terrifying absorption and transformation ability made the vitality in Chern Hao's mind grow stronger with every passing second. The spiritual energy of heaven and earth became thicker and thicker. With the increase in vitality, the growth of the strange flowers and plants and the spirit spring sea also accelerated. Beside the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree, the spirit spring surged. Chern Xiaoqing's snow-white naked body sat under the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree in the spirit spring. Her long and slow breaths inhaled and exhaled the pure spiritual energy of heaven and earth. She was also surrounded by the Tao laws emitted by the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree, entering a mysterious state of cultivation. Regardless of whether it was the speed of her comprehension of the heavenly Tao laws, her quintessential essence, or the tempering of her soul, they were all increasing at a speed several times faster than usual. This was something that Chern Xiaoqing had never dared to imagine, but now it was happening to her. What surprised her even more was that although her master, Chern Hao, had taken her into his mind, he had not blocked her mind. On the contrary, the master-servant contract that she had voluntarily handed over was still completely open, allowing her to listen to Chern Hao's inner thoughts at all times. The Sanskrit Great Tao. This was not dual cultivation, but the master-servant contract allowed her to bathe in Chern Hao's Tao state. The benefits were undoubtedly astonishing. It's been 3 months. Why hasn't he even landed in the second macro world? No matter how he cultivates in the aircraft, can he still enter seclusion? Doesn't he know that many people are worried? In a huge aircraft, Hu Mainyang sat alone in the top-notch VIP room of the aircraft. There was a rare look of worry on her beautiful face. She had originally thought that her astonishing progress in the primitive mystic realm would allow her, the saintess, to have greater prestige and appeal in the Misty Rain Pavilion. However, when it came to Xiaoyan, the #1 family on vast universe planet, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master had chosen to remain neutral without hesitation. Although Hu Mainyang had expected this, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master's straightforwardness had deepened her understanding of the Shao family. She could not blame the master. After all, the Misty Rain Pavilion's mission and uniqueness had always been to tread on thin ice and not offend anyone in the world. Fortunately, the Misty Rain Pavilion's master did not restrict Hu Mainyang's freedom after a deep conversation with her. Perhaps I should meet Xiao Yin, Hu Mainyang sighed inwardly. At this point, even if she did not want to admit it, she knew that Chen Hao could no longer remain as an ordinary friend in her heart. At the beginning, they had stolen treasures and hunted him down. Later, they had comprehended together and eliminated the devil fetus together. Finally, they had used each other and improved together. Then, she had been brought to Proud Heaven's base by the mysterious Han Mei and comprehended Chen Hao's nearly 600 years of profound Tao sounds. Most importantly, she had been raped and Chen Hao's shameless revenge. Hu Mainyang could not ignore it. No matter what kind of state of mind she had been in at the time, it had now become an indelible mark that had taken root in her body and soul. Even Hu Mainyang, who had always been ambitious, had not considered how valuable Chen Hao would be to her in the future and whether or not he would be able to get through this crisis. It had to be said that human emotions, especially those between men and women, were one of the most mysterious and unfathomable things in the world. Buzz. Thinking of this, Hu Mainyang raised the Soul Realm helmet and instantly raised her aura to the limit. In the endless rolling Tao laws, she entered the second world once again. Mainyang, I don't know what your relationship with him is, but I will prove that I, Xiao Yin, am the most suitable person to be your man and your path protector. There is no one else. I know that you must have logged into the second world. I also know that you have seen my message. 3 years ago, you promised me that if I could step into the Supreme of Hongmeng in 1,000 years, I would be qualified to be your path protector. I have been working hard. Moreover, I firmly believe that I can do it. I will defeat him with my own strength and prove it to you. Messages were stored in Hu Mainyang's information box in the second world. Beat. If I lose, I will choose to withdraw. Borrowing the reputation of the major factions and the Valley of Happiness is just an excuse for this battle. You don't have to persuade me. Even if there is no such thing, the battle between me and him is inevitable. The latest unread message made Hu Mainyang frown slightly. She even covered her mouth. After returning to the aircraft, Hu Mainyang had logged into the second world and remained invisible. She did not want to contact Xiao Yin. She was very familiar with Xiao Yin. Before entering the primitive mystic realm, she had often trained with Xiao Yin in the sacred temple. Of course, that was because Xiao Yin had deliberately flattered her and helped her cultivate. Otherwise, she and Xiao Yin would not be on the same level at that time. At that time, although Hu Mainyang would not fall in love, she would not reject any monstrous expert who deliberately approached her. A monstrous genius like Xiao Yin would not reject him either. Just like what she had said to Chen Hao back then, as long as he was a true genius, he would be within her consideration. This was the mission of the Misty Rain Pavilion's saintess. As for the promise that Xiao Yin would be qualified to be her path protector when he stepped into the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm in 1,000 years, Hu Mainyang had not only said this to Xiao Yin. However, Xiao Yin was undoubtedly the one she thought the most highly of back then. Now, after returning from the primitive mystic realm in just 6 years, she had unknowingly changed too much. It was all because of Chen Hao. In fact, this was also the reason why the Misty Rain Pavilion's master, who saw through everything, did not restrict Hu Mainyang's position. Hu Mainyang had already cultivated the Mortal Heart Sutra to the 9th stage and had some understanding of the 10th stage. However, she, who had suffered a loss once, remembered the warning left behind by the Misty Rain Pavilion's founder. For the time being, she did not dare to break through. Her control of the 7 emotions and 6 desires was already very strong. Under such circumstances, Hu Mainyang's state of mind leaned toward Chen Hao. What did that mean? The Misty Rain Pavilion knew that it was impossible to stop someone with a connate Tao embryo who had cultivated the Mortal Heart Sutra to such a level from falling in love. The Misty Rain Pavilion's Saintess and Misty Rain Pavilion's Master with a connate Tao embryo were an example. What about fairness? You have cultivated for more than 1,000 years. How long has he cultivated for? Hu Mainyang murmured. She took a deep breath and directly applied for Xiao Yan's number. In the core area of vast Universe City, in a bustling area adjacent to the temple, Xiao Yan was sitting cross-legged in a huge manner. He was immersed in the state of thoughtless tranquility, comprehending the mysteries of heaven and earth as me, and I as heaven and earth. No cultivator would be willing to be interrupted in such a state. Under normal circumstances, they would not give others the chance to interrupt them. However, the wisp of Xiao Yan's divine sense that was immersed in the second world suddenly opened its eyes. Its eyes flashed with excitement. What was even more exaggerated was that even his true body outside the second world did not hesitate to withdraw from the state of cultivation. His mind instantly integrated into the second world. Mainyang. Chapter 879. Xiao Yan's eyes shone brightly as he stared at Hu Mainyang in the video. He couldn't hide the excitement on his face, but Hu Mainyang's words caused his expression to change. Brother Xiao Yan, Mainyang wants to spar with you. Is that okay? Hu Mainyang smiled. She was still charming and seductive, but her tone and voice were not as natural as before. Xiao Yan could not feel the slightest hint of a smile, only coldness. Mainyang. Xiao Yan took a deep breath and said, "Are you trying to test me on his behalf? You don't dare?" It seems that I underestimated your relationship with him. I just want to know, is your promise from back then still valid? Mainyang said it before, of course it's valid. It's just qualification. Brother Xiao Yan, you've cultivated for more than 1,000 years, and how long has Chun Hao been cultivating? Is this your so-called fair fight? No matter what the result is, you've already lost. Don't say that the Happy Valley is just an excuse. You're doing it for their high reward, right? You're in the peak realm, and you can step into the ranks of Daluo Jinxian at any time. You want to have a life-and-death battle with someone who just came out of the primitive mystic realm, who hasn't had time to consolidate his cultivation, and who has cultivated for less than 1/10 of your time. You're the #1 heaven immortal in the vast universe galaxy. Mainyang finds it funny. I look down on people like you. Chi. After Hu Mainyang finished speaking, she cut off the connection. Her cold and sharp words revealed her disdain for Xiao Yan in the slightest. Xiao Yan, who was excited and hot-blooded, thought that Hu Mainyang must have contacted him because her relationship with Chun Hao was not as good as he had imagined. Suddenly, he felt as if a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head. He was speechless for a long time, and only his expression became more and more gloomy and violent. Ah! Chi chi chi! Boom 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 boom! Humph! No one can change what I, Xiao Yan, want to do or decide on. You, Hu Mainyang, are just a woman I want to conquer. Sooner or later, you'll become my woman. A heartless actress. Bitch. Bitch. Ah! Boom boom boom! You dare to provoke me for a man. Chi. Chi. The violent energy did not contain any divine ability, but it caused the incomparably strong cultivation rune to shake and the innumerable protective runes to crack. I shouldn't be like this. What Xiao Yan didn't expect was that after leaving the second world, Hu Mainyang's complexion became one of self-blame. Why did you lose your cool? Hu Mainyang patted her forehead. When he left, Xiao Yan's crazed eyes and violent aura made Hu Mainyang feel great danger even though it was just an image. At the same time, Hu Mainyang came to her senses and realized that she had overreached herself. Without a doubt, this would make Chun Hao suffer even more from Xiao Yan's crazy flames of war. She wanted to help Chun Hao, but now a love blinded one's wisdom. However, if Hu Mainyang was given another chance, she would at most not contact Xiao Yan. Even if she did, she would still say the same thing. If the Misty Rain Pavilion's holy daughter wanted to be smooth and slick, she would always be able to do so. She could not show her emotions on her face. However, the disguise of a mask was sometimes impossible to achieve. Master, we have arrived at the space barrier near Golden Light City on the Yang planet. Just before Hu Mainyang contacted Xiao Yan, a strangely shaped aircraft, which looked like a round disk carrying a towering tree, broke through layers of space storms at a terrifying speed in the chaotic space, and came to an abrupt stop. Treasure Hunter's sword spirit said to Chen Hao telepathically, "Master, I have refined 8 pills according to your request." Old God also diverted some of his attention and said, Old God, you are far from enough. Continue." Swish. As he spoke, Old God's body returned to Chen Hao's mind. Chen Hao tore the void with his palms, and the powerful space barrier was easily torn apart. Chen Hao stepped into the world of the Yang planet. It's been 10 years. I, Chen Hao, am back. There are only 6 months left. Chen Hao, who was at the peak of the late-stage Heaven Immortal stage, took a deep breath and looked down at the vast world of the Yang planet. He had arrived at the Yang planet 3 months in advance. The fleet returning from the primitive mystic realm would only arrive at the vast universe galaxy after 3 months. The aircraft from East Flow City would naturally arrive at East Flow City first, and it would take about 3 months to reach the Yang planet. In other words, Chen Hao had 6 months to act in secret. Chen Nan, Chen Yan, Huyen Aobua, and the others, as well as Mo Yui, Dongfang Jian, Xiao Mei, Li Xiaoling, and the others who were still on the Wuji planet, had all mysteriously disappeared. Chen Hao was 100% sure that he was the cause. It went without saying who did it. Now, 3 months had passed. Although Chen Hao concluded that the other party was using them to threaten him, at least they should have taken action after the fleet returned to the vast universe galaxy. But now, Chen Hao could not be sure whether they had been humiliated or not. The shape-shifting ring, the great shape-shifting technique, the unique skills of spirit cultivation, the carving technique. As long as I act carefully, I believe that even the Supreme of Hongmeng won't be able to discover me if he doesn't deliberately take precautions. If anything happens to any of them, sooner or later, I'll make you regret being born in this world. Chen Hao, who had completely concealed his aura, flew directly toward Golden Light City like a gust of wind. Fellow cultivator, welcome to Golden Light City. Please show me your wealth card. Thank you. When the disguised Chen Hao appeared at the majestic city gate of Golden Light City, the law enforcement officers of the Alliance guarding the city gate immediately greeted him with smiles on their faces. Although Chen Hao was only at the peak of the advanced stage of the Earth celestial stage, his aura was extremely strong and his appearance was very young. For a small city like the Yang planet, such a figure was definitely a rare genius. Chen Hao prepared a wealth card with the same appearance and information as the one he was now and handed it to the guard. Vast Universe Star, Black Rock City. Mr. Doe, please. Golden Light City welcomes you. After reading the information on the wealth card, the guard immediately became more respectful. A genius of the Vast Universe Star. Although it was only the identity of a small city on the Vast Universe Star, it was something that many cultivators could not obtain in their lifetime. Thank you, Chen Hao said with a smile, not caring about the guard's snobbish attitude. Status, and strength determined the kind of courtesy one would receive. This was the same whether in the secular world or the world of cultivation. Stepping out of the city, Chen Hao seemed to move slowly but was actually very fast. In an instant, he disappeared from the guard's gaze. People from the Vast Universe Star. Captain, do you think they're here to cause trouble for the Wuji Star? After watching Chen Hao disappear, a soldier walked up to the guard who had just received Chen Hao and asked in a low voice. Should be. During this time, Many cultivators from the vast universe star have come over. If not for the Wuji star, who would come to our barren little city? That young man just now is not simple. He's at the peak of the advanced stage of the Earth's celestial stage at such a young age, and his aura is very strong. I feel that he's comparable to a celestial immortal. People from big places are really powerful. Oh, no wonder you're so polite, Captain. I knew it. He's just an Earth immortal from the vast universe star. We've seen a lot of sky immortals from the vast universe star. Happy Valley is really something now. 2 years ago, when he saw that Chun Hao from the limitless star was at the top of the human rankings, he put down his pride and came to make friends with the limitless star. At that time, he even said that the 10-year duel with Chun Hao was just a formality. It's better to squash enmity than to keep it alive. The Wuji stars Lu Qingyang, Guan Nanchao, and the others were all happy. Now that Happy Valley suddenly had a strong backing, they turned their backs on them. The Wuji star was dumbfounded. But, Captain, I feel that this scene will definitely cause a sensation in the entire vast universe star system. Nonsense, do you even need to feel it? Even an idiot could see that the Wuji star's Chun Hao was known as the killing god Chun Hao. He was invincible in the 10 major galaxies of the primal mystic realm. He was the top genius of the 10 major galaxies. Of course, compared to the number 1 sky immortal in the vast universe star system, Xiao Yan, who had cultivated for more than 1,000 years, he was still no match. It was said that Xiao Yan had the strength to kill the late-stage Daluo Jinxian. In any case, the life and death battle between the two would cause a sensation. Not to mention, the killing god Chun Hao had established the proud Heaven's Legion. There were many geniuses supporting him, and many powerful backgrounds behind him would not sit idly by. The Happy Valley's side was also very strong, and they had invited Xiao Yan, the number 1 family in the vast universe star system. It would be strange if it didn't cause a sensation. Damn it, I really want to go to Mysterious Heaven City now. Captain, take me with you. Go go go, I don't even know if I can go. Chun Hao's soul perception was abnormal. Although he was thousands of miles away, the conversation between the 2 guards was clearly heard by him. This also made him certain that his choice to go to the Wuji Stars station in Golden Light City was undoubtedly the right choice. After quickly walking to a deserted corner, Chun Hao directly turned into a gust of wind. After 10 minutes, he appeared near the Wuji Stars station. He had merged with everything in the world, and with the concealment of the spirit cultivation technique and the concealment of the appearance-changing ring, even the masters of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm would not be able to detect the slightest abnormality even if they searched with all their might. Gusts of wind blew, and every movement within thousands of miles of the Wuji Stars station appeared clearly in Chun Hao's mind. Without any effort, he locked onto the auras of dozens of sky immortal experts. These sky immortal cultivators did not even hide their auras. There were men and women, and they were unscrupulous and fearless. They occupied a place in 2s and 3s, drinking and bragging. These 2 should be the leaders. Soon, Chun Hao locked onto the 2 with the strongest auras, who were surrounded by several young girls. They were 2 middle-aged men in the late stage of the sky immortal realm. They looked to be in their 30s, which was enough to prove that they had stepped into the sky immortal realm much earlier than ordinary cultivators. They were definitely top geniuses in the Asian Ing planet. Chapter 880. These cowards, not a single one of them dares to come out. I was still preparing to catch 2 beauties from planet Wuji. Damn it. Master Bin, there are so many people accompanying you, isn't that enough? Shoo shoo shoo, I can't accept your Happy Valley's cultivation methods. Furthermore, I like the primordial Yin body. Master Bin, you can't say it like that. It's a matter of love between a man and a woman, so why keep thinking about cultivation? It's good to relax your mind. We are all elites handpicked by the Valley Master. We know how to make a man feel better than any woman. Haha. Brother Ben, why don't we give it a try? Fine, if you want to try, go ahead and try. Take them all. I've taken a fancy to those beauties on the Wuji star. F***ck, I've never imagined that the Wuji star, a barren planet, could be so full of beauties. Moreover, they're so talented. After we kill Chen Hao, the Wuji star will be ours. By then, we have to fight for the task of taking over the Wuji star. No matter what, we have to get dozens of female slaves. Are you exaggerating, brother? We've been here for half a month, and we haven't seen many beauties entering or leaving planet Wuji. Haha. That's because you haven't seen the dozens of girls that Uncle Zijing caught on the Wuji planet. TSK. Not to mention me, even my uncles were envious of them. It's a pity that they didn't dare to ask Uncle Zijing for them. Furthermore, the 3 girls who are related to Killer God Chen Hao are even more beautiful. Master Bin, haha, don't be angry. It's not that you guys are too bad, it's that they are too beautiful. Most importantly, they have the primordial Yin body. I'm a clean freak, women can only be private property. I don't like sharing. Sorry, Brother Yen likes them. Alright. Brother Bin, I won't stand on ceremony then. Anyway, I'm just giving them some trouble. Killer God Chen Hao will only be back in half a year. There's no need to keep guarding here. Go, follow me. I'll let you guys have fun. Brother Bin, I'll have to trouble you here. Go ahead, there's no trouble. I can do whatever I want in planet Wuji alone. Alright, beast. Chen Hao had been here for 4 hours. If he attacked, he could easily kill everyone present. But he couldn't. What he needed to do now was to obtain as much information as possible and capture one of the 2 leaders alive. From the looks of it, this leader known as Brother Bin was undoubtedly the best candidate. Moreover, the opportunity had come. An imperceptible breeze drifted towards Brother Bin. Achoo! F***ck, could it be that Uncle Zijing, that old pervert, knows that I'm coveting the girl he caught? Big Brother Bin sneezed for no reason as he shook his head and said. Soon after, he lazily laid on the ground and closed his eyes, revealing a lustful expression. In his mind, he recalled the dozens of beautiful girls of the everlasting star that he caught a glimpse of. I must have dozens, hundreds. Brother Bin, who was still immersed in his fantasy, suddenly widened his eyes in horror. He wanted to scream, but he stopped abruptly. He watched as his physical body was crushed into meat paste by a horrifying force and pressure that he couldn't resist at all. His primordial spirit was bound by countless spiritual force and pressure and entered between the eyebrows of a young man. He saw the young man's face. It was a pair of horrifying eyes that were like the vast and deep night sky and also like a black hole filled with endless whirlpools and horrifying devouring forces. In just an instant, his primordial spirit entered a vast and boundless big world. At this moment, he screamed in horror. Who are you? I'm a direct descendant of the Bai family in vast universe galaxy. How dare you kill? Buzz. Before he could finish his sentence, a resplendent light directly bound his primordial spirit. At the same time, Master Bin felt his soul palace tremble. A soul that was many times stronger than him had attacked his soul palace. Immediately, his soul couldn't resist at all. All of his thoughts were imprisoned. Gradually, all of his consciousness disappeared, and he fell into endless darkness. He knew that he was done for. His soul was devoured and his body and soul were destroyed. If he had a choice, he would rather leave with his brothers and play with the broken shoes that he had no interest in. But now it was too late. He didn't even know who killed him. He could only confirm that it was definitely an expert from the Daluo Golden Wonderland Shi. His figure shook as he activated the great teleportation technique. In a flash, Chen Hao disappeared from where he was. When he reappeared, he had transformed into a gust of wind and arrived behind the cultivator and the woman from the Valley of Happiness who had just left. With a single thought, he quietly left an imprint on the cultivator's body. Then, Chun Hao went directly to a nearby restaurant. After going through the procedures, Chun Hao entered the cultivation room and sat down cross-legged. He began to organize the memories in Brother Bin's soul. At the same time, Brother Bin's body that was turned into meat paste also began to condense under the old god's consciousness. After a short half an hour, Chun Hao opened his eyes. Beast. The strong preys on the weak. The strong preys on the weak. What are the rules? Unscrupulous. This is the top family in the vast universe galaxy? If they are all like this, then I, Chun Hao, will kill them all one day. Trash. After completely digesting the memories of Master Bin, whose real name was Bai Xiaobin, Chun Hao was furious. Chun Hao was not a good person and had no interest in so-called justice. But he was still an earthling. No matter how much he changed, he still had basic morals. This was also the principle that he unconsciously followed from the beginning. Bai family. They should all be in the Bai family. I hope nothing will happen. Crack, crack, crack. Chun Hao clenched his fists and said coldly. In Bai Xiaobin's memories, Chun Hao saw that several Daluo Jinxian of the Bai family had gone to the Wuji Star and captured all the people who were directly or indirectly related to Chun Hao, including the talented girls who had nothing to do with him. The number of people he had captured was much more than what he had gotten from his eldest brother, Gu Chun. Moui, Dongfang Jian, Xiao Mei, Xiao Ling or Yang Fan, Li Feng, Ni Jian Pain, Buttface, Xiao Jishan, Xiao Jian, and even Dongfang Ting, Xia Lanlan, and Duan Yufei, who were still in the east continent of the Wuji Star. These were the young people who had a good relationship with Chun Hao in the east continent. As for Chun Nan, Chun Yen, and Huyan Aoba, Bai Xiaobin only knew that they had been captured by the powerhouses of the Wan family, which belonged to the 4 Mad Dragons. However, they should be locked up in the headquarters of the Happy Valley in the Xiantian city of the Yang Star. The only thing that comforted Chun Hao was that in Bai Xiaobin's memories, he had heard from Bai Zhijing that no one could touch those who were related to Chun Hao for the time being. Those were the bargaining chips to force Chun Hao to participate in the battle. Physical pain could be endured, but humiliation could not be. Bai Xiaobin is actually Bai Yan's uncle. Although his talent was average in the Bai family, his status was extremely high. It's a pity that Bai Yan died in my hands. However, his identity is enough for me to sneak into the Happy Valley for the time being. Chi. Chun Hao's mind moved and immediately opened the door of the cultivation room. At the same time, he took out a blood-red pill and swallowed it. Immediately, his body flickered. When the light disappeared, Chun Hao had turned into Bai Xiaobin's appearance, and his bloodline and aura were exactly the same. Even the people who were most familiar with him would not be able to detect the abnormality. If the soul residence is intact, there won't be a problem with the longevity token. The Bai family definitely won't be able to detect it. It's also in this hotel. It saves me a lot of trouble. Chun Hao caught the mark left on another cultivator, Bai Xiaohua, and easily locked onto his position. He directly merged into all things in the world and stepped out of the hotel first. Then, he swaggered in. "Sir, do you need to stay in the hotel?" When the waiter at the front desk saw Chun Hao, he immediately trotted out to welcome him and asked respectfully. This hotel was just a small hotel. It was rare to be able to accommodate a heavenly immortal realm expert. The person who came had an imposing appearance. At a glance, it was obvious that he had recently appeared nearby and came from a big place. "My cousin is here, right?" Swoosh. As Chun Hao spoke, he waved his hand and condensed an image in front of the waiter. Then, he said, "Let him see me." "Okay, sir. Please wait a moment. I'll go and report this." Brother Bin, haha. Can't hold it in anymore? The disciples of Happy Valley are really not ordinary. Let's have some fun together. You can have your fun. I'm here to tell you not to act rashly for the time being. I just received news that the top sects that God of Slaughter Chun Hao's proud heaven members belong to have also sent people to planet Wuji. For the time being, no matter what you do, don't overdo it. I'm going to Xiantian City. Ah? Brother Bin, why are you going to Xiantian City? The female disciples of Happy Valley are fun. Since I'm not going to dual cultivate with them, I'm going to ask for a few primordial body. Don't worry, I'll get you too. Brother Bin, you're really something. Thanks in advance. I'm going. Chun Hao patted by Xiaohua's shoulder. With a flash of his body, he quickly left. Not long after, Chun Hao walked out of the Xiantian City Alliance's teleportation center and took the Xiantian City's internal teleportation formation to Happy Valley. The Valley Master of Happy Valley only has a few Daluo Jinxian, but the Bai family has 3 Hongmeng Supremes and the Wan family also has 3. The Everlasting Sect doesn't seem to be involved. It should be because of Bailey Ningbing's relationship with me. They're quite generous. Chun Lin and the other geniuses that I killed were only cooperating with me. They didn't do much for the time being. The 6 Hongmeng Supremes might not be able to do anything to you, but they should be able to make you cough up some blood. Chun Hao thought to himself as he arrived at the entrance of a fairyland in Xiantian City. After going through the primitive secret realm, he didn't feel anything when he looked at this fairyland-like valley. It was worlds apart from his mental world. Senior Bai. Hello, Senior Bai. As Chun Hao slowed down and slowly walked forwards, several young disciples standing guard at the entrance of Happy Valley immediately bowed. As for the female disciples, their eyes were filled with flirtatious looks. They wished that this Bai Xiaobin from a top family in the vast universe galaxy would immediately take advantage of them. Chapter 881. What a despicable sect! Chen Hao nodded proudly, but he was cursing the Valley of Happiness in his heart. In the Valley of Happiness, 6 old men sat cross-legged on 6 towering mountains in 6 directions. Their entire bodies seemed to have merged into one with heaven and earth. Endless laws of Tao churned in the void, and the spiritual energy of heaven and earth gathered on its own. Immortal light lingered around them. Within 100 miles of these 6 mountains, countless young disciples of the Valley of Happiness were scattered in pairs in the pavilions and flower beds. Some were cultivating naked under the sun, while others were sitting cross-legged to comprehend and cultivate. They were all bathed in the immortal light of the 6 mountains. Without a doubt, this was a rare cultivation opportunity for the disciples of the Valley of Happiness. Obviously, these 6 mountains were the meditation places that the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm experts of the Bai family and the Wan family had casually condensed. They were independent of each other, but they occupied 6 positions and guarded the core area of the Valley of Happiness. However, at this time, the 6 experts were obviously immersed in their own bitter meditation and did not pay much attention to the situation in the Valley of Happiness. God of Slaughter Chun Hao had not returned, and what they were doing was a secret operation. Even if the Wuji planet found out, no one would dare to come to the Valley of Happiness to ask for him. Chun Hao slightly restrained his aura and walked straight to the palace that the Valley of Happiness had arranged for Daluo Jinxian and Bai Zhijing. Come, Brother Bai, let me toast you. Let's agree on this matter. We 4 brothers have no problem fighting for the Wan family. It's up to you. Haha, don't worry. When the time comes, as long as our Bai family gets it, I will be able to fight for it. When the time comes, the 5 of us will split it according to the ratio we agreed on. That's good. Drink. In the hall of Bai Zhijing's palace, not only had the restrictions of the palace been completely activated, but the 5 of them had also joined forces to condense a powerful seal. They were drinking wine and eating the exquisite food provided by the Valley of Happiness. Other than Bai Zhijing and a group of quadruplets from the Wan family, there was no one else. The 4 members of the Wan family, like Bai Zhijing, were the people in charge of this trip to the Asian Ing planet, second only to the family's Hongmeng Supreme. The experts of the Grand Miss Supremacy realm would not care about miscellaneous matters. To put it bluntly, they were basically the people in charge. Today, Bai Zhijing had specially invited the 4 of them for a small gathering. She had no choice but to do so, considering that Wuji planet might belong to the Wan family in the future. He tried to rope in the 4 brothers in advance, telling the 4 brothers of the Wan clan about the Wuji star producing beautiful girls and cooperating with them. If that was the case, he would definitely not be able to obtain the Wuji star by himself. However, if the Wan clan obtained it, as long as the 4 of them obtained it, then according to their agreement, he would be able to obtain a 5th of it. As for the Bai clan, even if they managed to obtain it, they would still have to share 1/5 of it with the 4 brothers of the Wan clan. It was enough to satisfy his needs. Brother Bai, since you've said so much, why don't you call out the little beauty you've caught so that we can verify her? Haha, of course. However, I have only tamed 6 of them for the time being. As for the others, I will give them some time. If they don't obey, then I will have to use force. Chi. As Bai Zhijing spoke, he pointed with his finger, and the door of the cultivation room immediately opened. Clap, clap, Mimi, the 6 of you come out first. Yes, master. 6 girls in the creation realm, who were completely in the low martial realm to Bai Zhijing and the others, walked out quickly. They had extremely young life auras, and their graceful bodies were faintly discernible under the silk veil. They were either delicate and beautiful, or charming and moving. Although they were not on the same level as Chen Shui and the others, any one of them could be considered a rare beauty in the cultivation world. The only flaw was that their cultivation realms were too low. The 6 girls lowered their heads and clenched their fists tightly. They were obviously very nervous. Brother Wan, take a look. What do you think? Her appearance and figure are not bad. TSK, Brother Bai, you're really something. These clothes make me restless. The eldest of the 4 people of the Wan clan said excitedly as he looked at the slightly protruding pink and tender breasts under the translucent veil and the fragrant black thicket. Haha. Since they are being raised as female slaves, they naturally have to learn some flirtatious manners. However, they are not just good-looking and good-looking. Carefully sense their auras. They are very young. Chi. As the leader of the Wan family spoke, 6 rays of golden light suddenly bloomed from between his brows and pressed down on the 6 girls. Plop, plop. The 6 girls immediately cried out in alarm and fell to the ground with terrified expressions. They looked at the leader of the Wan family in fear. Immediately, they felt the increasing pressure and fainted one after another. TSK. Amazing. The talent and potential of these girls are not bad, but they can only be said to be not bad. Their potential is still too far away from ours. It's not a problem for them to be female slaves and have fun. If it were that simple, I wouldn't be so determined to get the Wuji star. Oh? Is there something special about it? Of course. However, it's normal that Brother Wan can't see it. You have never been to the Wuji star, so you don't know the situation of the Wuji star at all. The heaven and earth spirit chi on that planet is barren. At least, I have never seen a planet that is so poor. More importantly, the cultivators on the Wuji star are too poor. Most of them don't even know what immortal origin crystals are. Not to mention heaven and earth spirit objects, spirit medicine, and other cultivation resources. It can be said that they almost relied on their own cultivation to raise their cultivation level step by step. Such people, not to mention providing them with sufficient spirit medicine, even if they were placed in Xiantian City, their cultivation speed would increase by several times. Their potential is definitely much greater than what we imagined. I see. No wonder. No wonder Brother Bai would rather tell us and reach an agreement with us to ensure that we won't fail. Good. Very good. Very good. In that case, it's not only the beauties on the Wuji star that are wealth. Yes. If we don't tell anyone about this secret, if we secretly raise the cultivators on the Wuji star, TSK, in just a few 100 years or even 100 years, we will be able to obtain many geniuses that are above average. If we are lucky, we can obtain a few super geniuses, then our status and speaking rights will be even stronger. Very good, very good. I was wondering, how could a small Wuji star give birth to such an indescribable genius like the god of slaughter Chun Hao? Completely correct. When I first went to capture people related to Chun Hao, I was curious and purposely stayed for a few more days before discovering this secret. As long as there are people related to Chun Hao, they have already obtained the full support and training of Limitless Star. With their age, cultivation, and auras, any one of them would be considered outstanding even on Vast Universe Star. After I investigated, I found out that these people were very ordinary before. No matter how strong Chun Hao's providence was, it shouldn't have such a big impact on them. After that, I captured many people to investigate and experiment on, then discovered this secret. Brother Bai, I'll be frank with you. I didn't care much before, but now, I'm sure that this is our opportunity. Other than the 5 of us, we can't reveal this to anyone else. Especially those who are stronger than us. Otherwise, I'm afraid we won't be able to fight for the ownership of the Wuji star. Of course. Dong dong dong. Uncle Zhijing. At this moment, there was a knock on the door and a shout from outside the palace. Little Bin? Why is this kid back at this time? Bai Zhijing frowned and thought to herself. Then, she waved her hand and sent the 6 girls into the cultivation room. She said, Brother Wan, this is my nephew and also the uncle of the number 1 genius of our Bai family, Bai Yan. Bai Yan is dead, but Bai Yan's father is also very strong. This kid outside the door has a high status in the Bai family. I brought him to the Wuji Star encampment in Golden Light City because I was afraid that this kid would find out something. I'll deal with him first. In fact, there was no need for Bai Xiaobin and the others to go to Golden Light City. The reason why Bai Zhijing sent them away was that she was afraid that Bai Xiaobin would ask her for these girls from the Wuji Star. At that time, she would not be able to give them to him. No problem. Haha. We're just drinking and reminiscing about the past. Haha. Bai Zhijing laughed heartily and then waved her hand to open the restriction. Xiaobin, didn't I ask you to guard the Wuji Star? Why are you back? Uncle, don't mention it. The cultivators of the Wuji Star are like cowards. After knowing that we are looking for trouble outside, they don't even dare to come out. It's really boring there. Junior Bai Xiaobin pays his respects to the 4 uncles Wan. Chun Hao pretended to be surprised and hurriedly bowed. He didn't even call them senior and directly called them uncle intimately. There's no need to be so polite, Xiaobin. The 4 brothers of the Wan family smiled slightly. This kid knew how to curry favor and was very likable. He waved his hand and sent out a gentle energy, directly helping Chun Hao up. Thank you, Uncle Wan, Chun Hao said. After that, he looked at Bai Zhijing and said, Uncle, are you drinking? I have something. I want to talk to you alone. However, Uncle Wan is not an outsider, and this matter, hee. I should be able to help Uncle Wan. You are only in the heaven immortal realm. How can you help Uncle Wan? Tell me what's the matter. Get lost after you're done. Don't disturb Uncle's drinking. Bai Zhijing scolded with a smile. After that, she looked at the 4 brothers of the Wan family and said, Brother Wan, don't mind him. Xiaobin is just too friendly and doesn't know how to be polite. No, I think this kid is a rare person. Haha. Hee. Uncle, this time, I'm not bragging. I have to say, as long as it's done, the benefits will be huge. Don't keep us in suspense. If you have something to say it quickly. Alright. Didn't we get the news that Chern Hao has mastered many legendary lost techniques? Especially his concealment skills are even more amazing. Yes. So what? Chapter 882. Lately, I've been quite bored, so I've collected some information about Chern Hao. His friends on the Wuji planet have all received his guidance, and he has taught them some of his strongest moves. Especially his younger brother and sister, they cultivated a complementary Dao unique skill. When they work together, they are quite powerful. Also, they have unlimited potential to evolve. Similarly, they also know Chern Hao's concealment unique skill, but their cultivation level is lower. How do you know they will? I got it from a spineless guy on the Wuji star. Kid, are you going to force them to tell you the secret? Uncle, can't I? Of course not. Those I caught have just become human deities, but they are all very stubborn. It's impossible to get anything out of them. As for those controlled by Brother Wan's family, don't even think about it. These are all closely related to Chern Hao. Our family has told us that these are the bargaining chips to threaten Chern Hao to come here. We can't act recklessly. If we want to act recklessly, we have to wait until Chern Hao comes back. Uncle, you are not suitable to act recklessly because of your status, but I am different. Bai Yan is my nephew. I am still waiting for him to raise the status of our family, but he was killed by Chern Hao. I can't take this lying down. I have plenty of ways to deal with women, especially young girls. As long as I can vent my anger, I am not afraid of losing face. Moreover, even if I do something extreme, it is reasonable. The family will punish me at most. Maybe we can even get Chern Hao's unique skill. If we get his concealment unique skill, you and the 4 uncles Wan can definitely increase your combat power by several times. After all, you just want to sleep with those beautiful young girls. Don't think I don't know your hobby. Ahem. Uncle, I am serious. Concealment unique skill. It is absolutely powerful. Brother Bai, I think Xiaobin is right. As long as we don't do anything extreme, it will be fine. If we can get Chern Hao's concealment unique skill, we will really make a profit. The eldest of the Wan clan's 4 brothers frowned slightly. Then, a bright light flashed in his eyes as he said, "That concealment technique can be used by experts 1 level higher. No one can detect it. If we obtain it, we can even deal with the average Hongmeng Supreme." That's true. But after all, your Wan clan, our Bai clan, and the leaders of the other major powers have made an agreement that we can't act recklessly. I'm afraid that Xiaobin will be in danger. It won't be as simple as punishment, Bai Zhijing said. Although he didn't care about Bai Xiaobin's life or death, he was now the steward. If he allowed it, Bai Xiaobin's brother, who was also Bai Yan's father, would blame him. Even his uncle's generation would be suppressed. Therefore, he had no choice but to speak the truth. Haha, Brother Bai, as long as we fail, no one will know. But if we succeed, it will be a great merit. If you fail, you won't say a word, we won't say a word, and no one can blame Xiaobin. The premise is that you can't really do it, Xiaobin. Just use all means to threaten and torture. You're right, Uncle Wan. I guarantee that I can do it. Alright, since Brother Wan also supports it, then Xiaobin will give it a try. I'm warning you, if something really happens, don't blame me for not warning you. Chern Hao's background is far stronger than you think. To put it bluntly, the Wan clan and our Bai clan are only nominal leaders. Ah? Uncle, do you mean Chern Hao's background could be an important figure in the Holy Temple? Chern Hao pretended to be surprised. In fact, he had long guessed that his father's identity was definitely an important figure in the Holy Temple. However, he didn't know exactly how important it was. But now, Bai Zhijing's words let him know that it was definitely an existence that could contend with the Shao clan, the #1 aristocratic family. It's good that you know. This is also the reason why we were strictly ordered not to act recklessly. I understand. Let's go, Brother Bai. Let's bring Xiaobin over first. We'll continue drinking when we come back. All right, Bai Zhijing said helplessly. However, she cursed the 4 people of the Wan clan in her heart. Obviously, Bai Xiaobin's life and death had nothing to do with them. If they succeeded, they would take advantage of them. If they failed, as long as nothing major happened, no one would know. If something major happened, they would only be slightly implicated. Anyway, it wasn't their Wan clan who did it. However, Bai Zhijing did yearn for Chen Hao's concealment technique. Otherwise, she wouldn't have agreed. Wait, uncle, didn't you capture dozens of little beauties from Wuji planet? Lend them to me. What are you going to do? Don't worry, uncle. I'm just using them to threaten Chen Hao. As the saying goes, birds of a feather flock together. God of Slaughter Chen Hao is very loyal. Those who believe in him won't be too bad. It should be effective. You brat. I'll lend you a few. Uncle, all of them. The more people there are, the more imposing they will be. If there are too few people, they might give up. Don't worry, it won't take many. If they want to submit, they will submit. If they don't submit, they can only do it to them. That's good too. I didn't realize that you're getting smarter and smarter. Chi. Bai Zhijing opened the door of the cultivation room and directly sent out dozens of extremely powerful forces to bind dozens of girls. Even the 6 who had already submitted to her tyrannical power were no exception. Later, these 6 will go first. They will cooperate with you. Okay. Uncle, please. Uncle Wan, please. Chen Hao bowed and said. After the 5 of them stepped out of the palace with the girls who had been bound, Chen Hao was the last to leave Bai Zhijing's palace. No one saw that the moment Chen Hao left, an object the size of a human head entered Bai Zhijing's cultivation room. Uncle Wan, the 6 elders won't notice, right? No, they won't. The 6 elders are all sitting in meditation. The supreme being of Hongmeng is under much more pressure than us now. Yes. The cultivation world is like this. When you don't have a goal to chase, you will relax. Now, the temple master Chen Wuliang, who has been in seclusion for many years, and his sisters have all succeeded in cutting their paths. All the experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm see hope and also feel pressure. That's right. Our operation this time might be the Shao family's test. And Chen Hao is almost certain that he is the son of Chen Wuliang in his reincarnation. Brother Wan, seriously, I feel that this operation is a little strange. The Shao family is indeed the #1 aristocratic family in the vast universe galaxy. It can be said that they occupy half of the vast universe galaxy, but to fight against Chen Wuliang, I'm afraid. Brother Bai. Since your family master and our family master are willing to do this, they must be confident. The masters of the vast universe galaxy have changed again and again, but the #1 aristocratic family of the Shao family has not fallen for hundreds of millions of years. How deep their foundation is not something we can measure. It can be said that without the Shao family, there would not be the stability of the vast universe galaxy today. Chen Wuliang has disappeared for so many years. Look at the other galaxies. Which one of them has made a move against us? Isn't it because of the Shao family's deterrence? That's true. Chen Hao only asked one question. He did not expect Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family to throw out such explosive news. It surprised Chen Hao. Uncle, the 3 of them succeeded in cutting their paths? When did this news come out? Why haven't I heard of it at all? You're just a heaven immortal. Don't worry about these things. I'm curious. Uncle, tell me. I won't bite off more than I can chew. I know my talent. You brat. This happened more than 3 years ago. At that time, Chen Wuliang and his sisters, Han Mei and Shui Mei, cut their paths at almost the same time. The world was in turmoil. Even when they entered the chaotic space, our universe fluctuated greatly. However, only Deluo Jinxian and the experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy Realm knew what had happened. Now, the three of them were still immersed in the comprehension and consolidation of their realms. In the past 3 years, the Hongmeng Supremes of the other 9 galaxies had also taken the risk to cut their paths. Many old fellows had appeared. In our vast universe galaxy, the Supreme Elders of the various top forces had also taken action. Although I don't know who it is, I'm sure that there are a few people in the Shao family. That's for sure. There's nothing to say about the Shao family's foundation. But without a cutting path expert, I'm afraid we wouldn't be able to take action now, said the eldest of the 4 brothers of the Wan family. That's right. From the small secular countries to the large vast universe galaxy, and even the entire universe, opportunities and luck have always been balanced. No one can control a region with the strength of a single person. The balance has always existed. Cutting path, true immortal. Sigh, it's already not bad if we can reach Hongmeng supremacy in this lifetime. As they spoke, Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family brought Chen Hao to the core palace of the Happy Valley. At this moment, they were already the masters of the Happy Valley. The core palace of the Happy Valley's Valley Master had also been requisitioned and became a forbidden area to imprison Chen Nan, Chen Yen, and the others. Moreover, it had been sealed by the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm expert. No one could secretly break it. This was also the reason why Chen Hao did not dare to act rashly. Xiaobin, after these people are sent in, you stay inside and keep an eye on them. It's best if you can get something out of them, but it doesn't matter if you can't. Anyway, you have nothing to do, so don't act rashly, understand? When they arrived at the entrance of the palace, Bai Zhijing suddenly said loudly. Obviously, she was talking to the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm expert. There were restrictions left behind by them here. Even if they were in bitter meditation, they would still be able to sense it. It was just a matter of whether they should pay attention to it or not. Don't worry, uncle. I know my limits. Okay, go in. If there's a situation, send us a message. Brother Wan, please. Okay. Chi. Bai Zhijing and the eldest of the 4 brothers of the Wan family took out a token at the same time. When the 2 tokens combined, they immediately emitted a bright and mysterious light that entered the runes on the door. Then, the door opened with a rumble. If Chen Hao wanted to rely on his own strength to break through the complex and profound runes, it was simply impossible. The gap between their realms and strength was simply too great. This also made Chen Hao rejoice that he did not act rashly. And now, it seemed that Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family were afraid of bearing the responsibility, so they would not even enter. Otherwise, they would not have said these words on purpose. This was exactly what Chen Hao wanted. Chapter 883. Chen Hao waved his hand and sent out a stream of energy. He took the dozens of girls from Bai Zhijing's hands and stepped into the core palace. Chi. The moment they entered, Bai Zhijing and the leader of the Wan family put away their tokens at the same time. The palace door closed, and the powerful restriction was activated again. Buzz. When Chen Hao saw the familiar and slightly unfamiliar faces in the palace, he saw the black chains covered in runes piercing through the collarbones, as if they were beasts, tying up his brothers and sisters. The anger that Chen Hao suppressed in the depths of his heart instantly erupted like a volcano, and hot blood rushed to his head. A boundless murderous aura was unleashed. Whoosh! At this moment, the huge palace was immediately filled with a cold pressure, and the temperature plummeted. One by one, the figures who were sitting cross-legged and resisting the double torture of their bodies and minds immediately opened their eyes and looked at Chen Hao. There was no fear or even emotion, but each of their eyes was filled with determination and determination. There was no exception. The more it was like this, the more painful Chen Hao's heart was. It was even more painful than when he endured the extreme path inheritance and the heavenly punishment that attracted the wrath of the heavens. It was a heart-wrenching pain that seeped into his bones. Clang! A light flashed between his brows, and the clear sound of a sword rang out. A cold sword light accompanied by an ancient aura swept out. Chen Hao held the treasured sword in his hand with trembling hands, and his eyes could not help but shine with a hint of crystal. "I'm sorry." Chen Hao's voice trembled. If you want to kill us, then kill us. If you want to use us to threaten our boss, dream on. You beast, you even captured so many people from our Wuji star. Just you wait, our boss. Jing Tiangang, stop talking. Isn't it just death? Huyen Aobua stopped Jing Tiangang and said indifferently. He also believed that if they died, their boss would definitely seek justice for them. However, there was no need to say it out loud, because the current boss was still a lot weaker than these people. Brother Aobua, it's okay. They don't dare to kill us. If they wanted to do it, they would have done it long ago. Why wait until now? They don't dare to do anything to us. Daluo Jinxian, haha. My brother is only a celestial immortal, but these scum can only use such a method to threaten him. Ha ha. Not to mention my brother, even if I, Chen Nan, don't die, I will still kill all of you, Chen Nan said. Right at this moment, Chen Yen, who was beside Chen Nan and had an extremely weak aura, suddenly said in a daze, Little Nan, I saw Big Brother. Xiao Yen, don't give up. Why won't you listen to us? I said. They wouldn't dare to kill us. Big Brother once told us not to give up until the very last moment. How can you give up? I haven't seen Big Brother for a long time. I really want to see Big Brother again, but I don't want them to use me to threaten Big Brother. I'm sorry, Chen Yen said weakly. Since the beginning, she hadn't resisted the torment of her soul and body. She just let her life force slip away. Xiao Yen, how can you be so stupid? What you're doing is meaningless. Do you think they'll let us die? Sister. Chen Hao closed his eyes and said with a trembling voice, Brother is here. F***ck off. You dare to touch my sister, Chen Nan looked at the person in front of him, who was holding a sword that was obviously beyond their understanding. As he walked step by step towards Chen Yen, he struggled and roared crazily. He wanted to say something threatening, but nothing could threaten the other party. His futile struggle only caused his collarbone to bleed again. What do you want to do? Come at me! Xiao Mei used all her strength to shout at Chen Hao. In the Xiao family, she had watched Chen Yen grow up. Because of the feelings hidden in the depths of her heart, she was closer to Chen Yen than her own sister. Voila! Suddenly, a dense light flashed around Chen Hao's body. Immediately, Bai Xiaobin disappeared and was replaced by Chen Hao's real body. Cries of surprise rose and fell one after another. Huyen Aobua, Meng Xiao, the First King, Jing Tiangang, Bailey Lianqing, Gao Dezhuang, Bai Xiaomei, Zhang Rongrong, Tan Hui, Gu Xing, Lin Hao, Jiang Hai, Huang Wenxiu, and the other prideful elders of the Wuji star. Mo Yui, Dongfang Jun, Yang Fan, Li Yifeng, and I Jianpane, and the other brothers who had followed Chen Hao in the beginning, Xiao Mei, Lil Linger, Buttface, Xiao Jishan, Xiao Jifei, and the other people who were the closest to Chen Hao in the secular world. There was also Xiao Jiyan, who had been estranged from him. Even Dongfang Ting, Xia Lanlan, Duan Yufei, Xia Yuyu's brother, Xia Nantian, and the others who were still on the eastern continent of the limitless planet. All of them widened their eyes in surprise and fell silent. Chi. The incomparably sharp sword light carried an extremely condensed power, and in an instant, there were dozens of swords. Puff 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 puff. The chains that bound everyone were cut like tofu without any suspense. Chi. At the same time, A majestic and terrifying aquamarine energy suddenly flowed out from between Chern Hao's eyebrows and turned into beams of light that enveloped everyone's bodies. Endless vitality and pure energy made everyone horrified to find that the chains that had been torturing their souls and bodies were healing at a terrifying speed. Brother, what? Woo woo woo. When Chern Hao gently hugged Chen Yan's delicate body, Chen Yan, who thought he was dreaming, felt the familiar breath and the warm embrace. Only then did he come back to his senses. With a wah sound, he cried out loudly and used all his strength to hug Chern Hao tightly. Just like when he was a child, his legs hung around Chern Hao's waist and tightly wrapped around it. Brother Chern Nan's angular, determined, and handsome face was tearing up at this moment. He had grown up and had always regarded his brother as his goal. In the cruel world of cultivation, he had experienced countless battles and shed blood but not tears, even in the face of death. But now, when he saw his brother, he suddenly realized that he was still so fragile in front of his brother. He really wanted to throw himself into his brother's arms and hang on his brother's body like his younger sister. Big brother, is it really you? Second brother, is this our big brother? Am I dreaming? F***ck. Jing Tiangang, you F***king bit me. It's not a dream, Jing Tiangang said. Xiangzi. The mischievous Ling heir had now grown into a delicate and beautiful girl. Her bright and beautiful eyes were sparkling with tears, making her look like an elf. Brother Tianzi. But Face wiped away his uncontrollable tears as he stood side by side with Ling heir and called out honestly. Xiaoshi. Xiao Mei, who had been mature for a long time, was now in a mess. But her gentle eyes were shining with excitement, and the feelings hidden in the depths of her heart, which she did not dare to express, were so hot. However, before she could finish calling out little junior brother, she suddenly stopped. Big brother. The first king's tall and straight body was still like a mountain. His golden hair was trembling. Gao Dezhuang by Xiaomei, Zhang Rongrong, Tan Hui, Bailey Lianqing, Lin Hao, Gu Xing, and the others were indescribably excited. Big brother. Yang Fan, Li Feng, and Ni Jianping's eyes were shining. Big brother. Even in an unconscious state, Mo Yui was shining with a fierce and vigorous sword will. Dongfang Jun pulled his aunt Dongfang Ting with a face full of excitement. Chun Hao, Xia Nantian, Xia Lanlan, and Duan Yufei shouted excitedly. Xiao Jian's eyes were also filled with tears, and her heart was bitter. Once, because of Dongfang Han, there was a barrier between her and Chun Hao, no matter how much Chun Hao cared about her. So, all this time, she tried her best not to think about it, and to not get close to it. But this time, she was still considered one of Chun Hao's closest people and was captured. But now, seeing Chun Hao again, she still did not know what to do, and did not know how to face him. I'm sorry, I've implicated all of you. Chun Hao's gaze slowly swept across the crowd, and said in a low voice. Big brother, what are you saying? You shouldn't have come. It doesn't matter if we die, at least boss can avenge us. Now, this palace is a seal condensed by the Grand Mist Sovereign. Huyen Aobo regained his senses after his agitation. His expression was both moved and resentful as he spoke. Yes, big brother, we can die with you. Although I'm proud, but who will avenge us? Jing Tiangang said. Big brother, you shouldn't have come. Chen Nan also said. We won't die. Don't worry. Xiao Yan, come down quickly. You've grown up. Chun Hao said. No, big brother, I don't want to be separated from you again. Be good, be good. Big brother must take all of you away immediately. Any later and we'll be discovered. Then promise me that no matter where you go, you'll take me with you. Okay, big brother promises you. Come, let go of your minds. Chi. After Chun Hao put down his sister, who was clinging to him, a mysterious crystal light shone from his glabella and enveloped everyone present. Big brother, what are you? Big brother's great world. Go in. Chi 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 chi. Then, to everyone's shock, they all disappeared from the palace. Even the dozens of unrelated and unconscious girls of the Wuji star entered Chen Hao's great world in his mind. Shaoqing, put on your clothes, ah? In Chen Hao's great world, Chen Shaoqing was cultivating naked under the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree when Chen Hao's voice suddenly appeared in her mind. Master! Chen Xiaoqing's pretty face flushed red. When she saw the embodiment in front of her, she hurriedly raised her Taoist robe and quickly put it on. What's wrong? Some of my brothers and sisters came in. Let them cultivate here as well. Oh, Master, I'll leave then. It's fine. I'll introduce you to them. However, just say that you're my friend for now. No, Master. Shaoqing just wants to stay by your side quietly. Shaoqing will leave for now, Chi Chi. After Chen Shaoqing finished speaking, she transformed into a streak of light and flew into the distance. Since Chen Hao had said so, she knew that her master was in trouble. Chapter 884. Chen Hao shook his head and did not say anything as he watched Chen Shaoqing leave. He had no intention of keeping Chen Shaoqing in a golden house. The current situation was only temporary. With a thought, a bright light flashed. Chen Yan, Chen Nan, and the others all arrived under the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree and looked around in shock. Whether it was the boundless heaven and earth spirit chi and endless vitality, the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree that was shrouded in celestial light and surging Tao laws, or the boundless sea of supreme-grade spirit springs, all of it was beyond their imagination. Sea of supreme-grade spirit springs. Heavens, what kind of tree is this? What a rich vitality! What a majestic Tao law! Boss, this is your mind world? A great world. Isn't it only possible for the experts of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm to have one? Boss, you're my idol. You're too amazing. Haha. We can cultivate here in the future. Everyone was excited to be able to enter such a sacred cultivation ground after surviving a calamity. Their eyes were filled with joy, shock, and admiration as they looked at Chen Hao, who was only an incarnation of his divine consciousness. Alright, all of you can cultivate in my great world for the time being. This is the core of the sea of supreme-grade spirit springs and the Tao manifestation immortal fruit tree. It should be very beneficial to all of you. Brother, is this a universe? Chen Yan asked. It's still far from it. This is only the embryonic form of a great world. It's not very big. However, as my cultivation base increases, this space will become stronger, bigger, and more stable. However, it's not suitable for long-term use. The path of cultivation can't be honed in a pure land. It's fine if you go into seclusion occasionally. Alright, I'll go out first and think of a way to escape. Oh, boss, can I drink the spirit springs? Huyen Aobua asked excitedly. Up to you. If you can finish packing, you can take it all away. Chen Hao said with a smile before he disappeared from the great world in his mind. Phew, after his consciousness returned to his body, Chen Hao heaved a long sigh of relief. The nerves that had been stretched taut for the past 3 months finally relaxed at this moment. Although his brothers and sisters had been tortured for a period of time, fortunately, none of them were injured. Now everything was under his control. As long as he didn't die, no one could hurt any of them. The restriction formed by 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm experts is simply too powerful. Chen Hao's powerful soul perception captured the auras around the palace as he thought to himself. Fortunately, all the preparations, Chen Hao's mind jumped. Old God's real body appeared inside the core palace. Chen Hao went inside. Activate. We only have an instant of opportunity. Don't worry, Master. As long as Master's description of its power is correct, then there is no problem. The margin of error is very small. There shouldn't be a problem. Alright. Master, get ready. When we rush out, the shockwave will be very strong. Even my old bones will be heavily injured. Old God said. Yes. Hiss. Hiss. Without any mysterious fluctuations, the signal spread out from Old God's aircraft. Even the restrictions of the palace could not stop the transmission of these signals. Buzz. At that very moment, Chun Hao's energy surged out. His essence, energy, soul power, primary energy and soul power were all channeled into his fleshly body. At the same time, he put on a set of ancient sacred tier armor to push his defense to its limit. Qi. In the cultivation room of the palace where Bai Zhijing was, something the size of a human head suddenly made a slight trembling sound. However, Bai Zhijing, who was drinking with the 4 brothers of the Wan family, did not notice it at all. In fact, even the supreme being of Hongmeng would not be able to discover the existence of the thing left behind by Chun Hao if he did not deliberately lock onto it. Invisibility and aura shielding were all based on the science of Earth. They did not contain any magical laws, just like the shielding and concealing function of his miniature aircraft. However, there was another world inside the sphere. It was a space refined by Old God's abnormal refining ability. It was loaded with the ability to destroy a planet larger than Earth. Considering the protective restrictions of the entire space of the Happy Valley, Chun Hao had absolute confidence that he could destroy the entire Happy Valley. Of course, this alone was not enough. If Chun Hao wanted to leave smoothly, the most important thing was the 6 supreme beings of Hongmeng guarding the Happy Valley. Qi. At the same time, before Chun Hao went to look for Bai Zhijing, he had secretly placed the things near the 6 supreme beings of Hongmeng who were sitting in meditation. Many of the disciples of the Happy Valley were bathed in immortal light and cultivating in broad daylight. In fact, it was precisely because of the existence of these shameless disciples that Chun Hao could easily place these things near the 6 supreme beings of the Grand Mist realm. Beep, 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 buzz. As the signal received by the aircraft became more and more urgent, Chun Hao and Old God pushed their minds to the limit. Boom. Rumble. A terrifying explosion suddenly erupted in the Happy Valley without any warning. Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family, who were still fantasizing that Bai Xiaobin would be able to ask about the concealment technique, were extremely terrified. Their bodies were blown into pieces, and their primordial spirits were annihilated. Without any preparation or any energy fluctuations, the explosion suddenly erupted. Even though their cultivation had reached the level of Daluo Jinxian, they could not escape. The mountains condensed by the 6 supreme beings of Hongmeng also collapsed at the same time. They did not know what had happened at all. They only felt an extremely terrifying explosive force suddenly attack them. The 6 supreme beings of Hongmeng who were sitting in meditation also vomited blood from the explosion. They immediately tore through the void and fled as fast as they could. Within a radius of tens of thousands of miles, all the palaces in the Happy Valley were turned into dust. All the mountains and all the disciples in the valley were annihilated. How is this possible? How is this possible? The 6 supreme beings of Hongmeng felt that their internal organs were dislocated. After gathering together, they looked at the Happy Valley that had been turned into ashes in an instant. Their hearts were filled with extreme fear. There was no longer any life left within a radius of 10,000 miles. It was a scene of devastation. Dust and smoke billowed. Even the spiritual energy of heaven and earth had disappeared. Absolute power. One move completely destroyed the Happy Valley within a radius of tens of thousands of miles. Even the 6 of us were injured at the same time. And it didn't use any divine ability. What kind of power is needed to do this? It was silent. Before the explosion, there were no fluctuations at all. Otherwise, with our cultivation, it would be impossible for us to be injured. How many people in the world can do this? This is definitely targeted at us, that's right. This move attacked the location where the 6 of us were and the core palace area at the same time. It might not be targeted at us. The 6 of us happened to be guarding the Valley of Happiness. It's impossible for someone with such power to not know about it. Such an attack would at most cause us light injuries. Furthermore, after the attack, there was no reaction at all. There's something fishy about this. It seems that what we're worried about has happened. Let's go. We must report this to the Patriarch immediately. Brother Bai, what do you mean? Who else do you think would dare to do this? I think Chun Hao's people should have been rescued. If I'm not mistaken, Chun Wuliang should have come out of seclusion. The other 5 sucked in a breath of cold air when they heard the words of the Bai family's sovereign. Then, the 6 of them turned into streaks of light and disappeared on the spot. No one noticed that a miniature aircraft had torn through the void amidst the terrifying explosion and disappeared into the endless chaotic space. Everything had gone much more smoothly than Chun Hao had expected. However, after the incident, Chun Hao broke out in a cold sweat. The strength of the 6 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm elites was much greater than he had expected. Even Chun Hao, who had entered the chaotic space, could feel the terrifying aura that swept past him. If the 6 of them had not been in a state of shock and failed to notice him, they would not have been able to escape even with Old God's aircraft. Chi. After Chun Hao and the 6 Hongming supremacies left, the terrifying energy waves that spread for tens of thousands of miles around the Happy Valley attracted countless cultivators from Xiantian City, including the elites of the Alliance. No one dared to believe the scene before them. The Happy Valley was one of the top sects on the Asian Ing planet. The number of elites guarding the sect was something that countless sects and factions on the Asian Ing planet looked up to. However, it was now a wasteland devoid of life and spiritual energy. What did you say? Annihilated? The 6 Hongming supremacies were in the Happy Valley? How is that possible? Valley Master, they're dead. They're all dead. Everyone in the Happy Valley, except for the 6 Hongming supremacies, is dead. None of the elites from the Bai and Wan families survived. The Happy Valley is now a wasteland. Bam! The Valley Master of the Happy Valley, who was on his way to East Flow City on Vast Universe Planet, logged off from the second world and slumped to the ground. You're saying Qin Wuliang made a move? Patriarch, we're only speculating. It's not a big deal that one move could destroy tens of thousands of miles around the Happy Valley. After all, the level of the Happy Valley's protective restrictions is average, but to injure all 6 of us, and we didn't even sense the other party's aura. All of you come back first. Head straight to East Flow City. Understood. The Bai and Wan families, as well as the leaders of the factions that Chun Hao and Proud Heavens members had killed, were shocked when they heard the news. Although many of them had known that this operation against a mere sky immortal like Chun Hao was no longer a simple challenge, they hadn't expected it to be so intense and crazy. This made many of them uneasy. In a game between the upper echelons, if they chose the wrong side, it could lead to their demise. Chapter 885. Vast Universe Stars East Flow City had been bustling for the past 2 months. Countless cultivators from Vast Universe Star and even the Vast Universe Galaxy had flocked there. This was all because of God of Slaughter Chun Hao and Xiao Yan. One looked humble on the surface, but everyone could guess that his identity was not simple. He had obtained the title of God of Slaughter in the primitive mystic realm. He had dominated the primitive mystic realm, defeated the monstrous geniuses of the 10 galaxies, led the proud Heaven Legion, and obtained terrifying battle records and contribution points. The other was known as the number 1 genius of the Sacred Temple, the direct descendant of the number 1 family in Vast Universe Galaxy, and the number 1 heaven immortal of the human race, Xiao Yan. Both of them had the glory and halo of everyone's attention. Who would not pay attention to their battle of life and death? Who would not be curious? More importantly, Any almighty who was slightly smarter could guess that their battle was not as simple as it seemed. God of Slaughter Chun Hao participated in the primitive mystic realm as East Flow City. When he returned, he would naturally be in East Flow City. We can't miss this battle. Of course. Although I haven't seen Xiao Yan and Chun Hao's battle power with my own eyes, I dare say that their battle will definitely represent the peak of the human race's heaven immortal realm. That's right. It's said that Xiao Yan had the ability to kill Daluo Jingxian a few hundred years ago. As for Chun Hao, he dominated the 10 galaxies in the primitive mystic realm. Even the monstrous geniuses of the tyrants, the Bug Clan, and the God Clan were no match for him. Although Chun Hao has only cultivated for a short time, the independent space-time laws of the primitive mystic realm allowed him to grow. Just looking at the ancient treasure he obtained is enough to prove it. That's right. His providence is too strong. We can only be envious. Look at the members of the Proud Heaven Legion. Which one of them is not strong? Although they were very strong when they joined the Proud Heaven Legion, everyone can be sure that without God of Slaughter Chun Hao, their improvement and gains in the primitive mystic realm would not be comparable to what they are now. Look at Chun Hao's women, TSK. There's nothing to say. As the saying goes, you can see how strong a man is by looking at the women around him. It's said that the Misty Rain Pavilion's current holy maiden, Hu Mainyang, has a complicated relationship with Chun Hao. The reason why Xiao Yan accepted the invitation is also because of this reign. In East Flow City, in the taverns of all sizes, cultivators were packed to the brim. Nearly all of the discussions revolved around Chun Hao and Xiao Yan. After Chun Hao became famous in the primal secret realm, the 10-year duel between him and Valley of Happiness was no longer a secret. However, no one would have thought that Happy Valley would be able to invite Xiao Yan, someone who had been famous for even longer than Chun Hao and had the strongest background on Vast Universe Star. There are definitely some reasons for this. Not to mention Hu Mainyang's innate Tao embryo, there isn't a single cultivator who wouldn't be moved by it. Even her stunning looks are something that all men yearn for even in their dreams. However, how many people in this world could enter Hu Mainyang's eyes? How many people were worthy of her? Perhaps only people like Xiao Yan and Chun Hao were qualified to be her protectors. But I don't think it's all because of Hu Mainyang. Oh? Then what's the reason? I'm sure everyone has already guessed a little about Chun Hao's background. Half a month ago, Happy Valley of the Ya-Ing planet was reduced to ashes overnight. I'm sure you've all heard about it. So, if nothing unexpected happens, Chun Hao's background is real, and everyone knows the status of the Xiao family in Vast Universe Star System. This is one of the reasons, so let's not discuss it further. Secondly, the treasures Chun Hao obtained in the primal secret realm are simply too great and too tempting. If you can kill him and obtain his treasures, you'll be thousands or even tens of thousands of times richer than the average expert in the Grand Mist Supremacy realm. Thirdly, the current god of Slaughter Chun Hao can be said to be a monstrous genius who has shaken the 10 major galaxies. How much providence does he have? Even if Xiao Yan is stronger than Chun Hao, his providence is far inferior. If I'm able to kill Chun Hao, and it's under the gazes of so many people, what would the outcome be? That makes sense. The news of Xiao Yan's participation in the battle was spread by the disciples of the Divine Temple. They obviously want everyone to know. Yes, that must be it. The news of Xiao Yan representing the Happy Valley in the battle against Chun Hao had indeed been spread by Xiao Yan in the Divine Temple. Hu Mainyang's humiliating words had thoroughly infuriated him. Since that was the case, he had to make as much of an impact as possible. That way, he would be able to reap the most benefit. Indeed, Hu Mainyang was not the only reason he wanted to fight. Hu Mainyang, who had a connate Taoist embryo, was indeed very important to him. But just as Hu Mainyang had said, he, who had cultivated for more than 1,000 years, had gone too far by challenging Chen Hao to a battle to the death as soon as he returned. But now, he no longer cared. This was especially true after he had gone through all of Chen Hao's records in the primal secret realm through the alliance. Because, if Chen Hao was given more time, even he was not confident that he could win. "Boss, have you managed to contact Miss Hu?" In East Flow City, in a private room of a luxurious restaurant that didn't belong to the Fan family, there were several men and women with imposing appearances. With a single glance, one could tell that they were dragons and phoenixes amongst men and women. One of them, whether it was in appearance or aura, was extremely dazzling even amongst these people. Moreover, anyone could see that he was the core of this group. At this moment, one of them looked at this youth and asked, "Do I, Xiao Yan, need to ask for a woman's opinion when doing things?" Boss, I didn't mean that. It's just that the rumors. Miss Hu's relationship with Chen Hao is a little strange. Humph. Hu Mainyang is destined to be my woman. Not to mention anything else, just my status as the #1 family of the Xiao family makes me, Xiao Yan, a good-for-nothing, enough to be her guardian. If I don't do it, who would dare? Boss, you're right, a few young men and women in the heaven immortal realm matched the Tao. But their expressions were a little surprised. They could sense that the Xiao Yan today was very different from his usual humble self. He had become domineering and even arrogant. But none of the people present thought that Xiao Yan was arrogant. The masters of the Wan family, by family and other forces, as well as many elders of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm, have all rushed over. Boss, you're representing the Happy Valley, so none of them dare not give you face. But, no matter how I see it, it's like using a sledgehammer to kill a chicken. Even though that Chen Hao's natural talent is monstrous and his karmic luck is even more formidable, but his current strength is truly insufficient when compared to Boss. Him now? You mean, he can surpass me in the future? Cough cough. No. Boss is the #1 genius of our vast universe galaxy. How can he surpass you? What I mean is, after a few more years, he'll have the qualifications to fight with you. Right now, he's at most on par with us. Ha ha ha. Enough. Do you think I don't know what you're thinking? Those who can sit here are my closest brothers and sisters. You know why I'm fighting. Actually, I also know that Chen Hao's talent is no less than mine. Perhaps he'll have the strength to fight and compete with me in the future, but a dead man has no future. Xiao Yan suddenly said with a laugh. Boss is right. A dead man has no future. I'm really looking forward to seeing how much stronger your already strong providence will become after you kill Chen Hao, boss. When the time comes, we'll be able to bask in your glory. Of course. Chen Hao's harvest in the primal mystic realm is also terrifying. Not to mention the Tao manifestation, immortal fruit core, the other spiritual items of heaven and earth, the legacy techniques, ancient treasures, and so on. It's just too much. Don't worry, those things are just worldly possessions to me. Other than the Tao manifestation, immortal fruit core, you can take whatever you want. The Tao manifestation, immortal fruit core. It should have grown into a Tao manifestation, immortal fruit tree by now, right? This kid has a lot of secrets. I'm looking forward to it. Boss, there's something I don't know if I should say. Naturally, we'll support you, but on the family's side. We're not in control after all, and the family leader has to consider the interests of the sect. Why? Does your family doubt the Xiao family's foundation? Boss, if Chen Hao's background is really the ruler of the vast universe galaxy, Chen Wuliang, then there are 3 true immortals. True immortals, 3 true immortals. Are they very strong? They've just cut their Tao. The Xiao family used to be able to keep him in check, and we still can. All you have to do is tell your forces that a few reclusive grand elders of the Xiao clan have successfully severed their Tao in the universe's primordial times. If that's not enough, Then just say that the Shao clan's patriarch is still alive. Huh! Everyone's eyes widened in shock when they heard Shao Yan's words. The Shao family was the #1 family in the vast universe galaxy. Everyone knew that they had a deep foundation, but no one could estimate how deep they were. After all, the ruler of the vast universe galaxy had changed many generations, but the Shao family's status as the #1 family had never been shaken. It was already shocking enough that a few reclusive Grand Elders had successfully cut their Tao, but Shao Yan's words made everyone's scalp go numb. What kind of existence was that? Even if no one knew how strong the Shao family's patriarch was, they could tell by thinking about the time the Shao family had existed. He was definitely a true immortal. Amazing. Too amazing. Boss, the patriarch. He should be much stronger than a true immortal, right? What do you think? Shao Yan asked with a smile, his face brimming with pride. However, the people present did not know that Shao Yan's claim that the patriarch was still alive was true. The Shao family's patriarch was the true foundation of the Shao family that had stood tall for hundreds of millions of years. This was also the real reason why no ruler of the vast universe galaxy dared to touch the Shao family. However, it was very difficult to ask him to come out of retirement. Unless the Shao family was at a moment of life and death, it was basically impossible. Chapter 886. The Wan family, the Bai family, and other forces that were incompatible with Chen Hao, the #1 aristocratic family, the Shao family, and their loyal vassal forces, as well as the neutral forces that Shao Yan and the others had roped in with their own connections, all gathered in East Stream City. As expected by Du Jing, Lan Feng, and the others, the forces that belonged to the Proud Heavens members didn't express their support for the god of slaughter Chen Hao without hesitation. Just like Hu Mainyang. Although she was the Holy Virgin of the Misty Rain Tower, the Misty Rain Tower had its own concerns. Hu Mainyang's words didn't have the power to influence the decision of the Misty Rain Tower's master. However, most of them chose to play safe for the time being. In the endless chaotic space, the aircraft that the old god had transformed into was floating quietly in the terrifying space storm. Chen Hao sat cross-legged. The Tao Manifestation's celestial fruit tree stretched out for thousands of miles. The Taoist principles were tumbling and celestial light lingered around it. 3 more days. It's almost time. Chi. Chen Hao's mind shook. The branches and leaves of the Tao Manifestation's celestial fruit tree that stretched out in the chaotic space all returned to the big world in his mind. At the same time, Chen Hao's mind transformed and entered the core of the big world in his mind. Looking at the faces of those who were immersed in cultivation, Chen Hao's mouth curled into a smile. His younger sister in cultivation was 90% similar to Chen Shui. The only difference was that their temperaments were totally different. This was caused by their different personalities, different experiences, and different cultivation stages. If Chen Yan and Chen Shui could stay close to each other like the beautiful sisters Leng Ninghuan and Leng Ningle, their resemblance wouldn't be inferior to that of the beautiful sisters. His younger brother, Chen Nan, had grown up. Although he was still a kid in Chen Hao's eyes, he looked older than him. This was also the reason why Chen Hao's cultivation stage had improved quickly, but his appearance had changed slowly. But face still looked simple and honest. It seemed that he had already gotten along with the clever and lively Ling heir. This was undoubtedly a very happy thing for Chen Hao. Xiao Mei, the first personal female instructor to make Chen Hao excited after he regained his memories, was already very familiar with her. Chen Hao originally thought that she had already gotten together with Xiao Feng. Although he had let it go in his heart, he subconsciously felt a little regretful as a man. And now, Chen Hao already knew that Xiao Mei had been pressured by her father to become Xiao Feng's Tao companion in name. At that time, Chen Hao had already jumped out of the secular world, and the two of them were already people of two different worlds. Moreover, Chen Hao was much younger than Xiao Mei, and she definitely couldn't use Chen Hao as an excuse in her family. Now, Xiao Mei relied on her own efforts, step by step. Although it was very, very slow, she constantly maintained the eternity in her heart, and once again walked in front of Chen Hao. Although it was an accident, although the gap between their realms was still very, very large, and although she still didn't dare to show it, but Chen Hao could see and sense it. Chi. A white light flashed, and Xiao Mei, who was in a state of cultivation, suddenly disappeared from Chen Hao's mind and appeared in the aircraft. Sister Mei, Junior brother. Xiao Mei murmured in her state of cultivation and immediately woke up. When she saw Chen Hao standing in front of her, she immediately cried out in surprise. Sister Mei, what do you think this is? Hiss. A lifelike wooden carving suddenly appeared in Chen Hao's hand. Ah, this is when you left the Xiao family and rushed to the Royal Academy. We sent you off. Hee, that's right. Sister Mei, look at your affectionate appearance. What do you mean? When Xiao Mei saw her own appearance, her pretty face was already red. Chen Hao's carving was too lifelike. Anyone who saw Xiao Mei's appearance and gaze could see the depth of her feelings. Sister Mei, your talent is very poor. I know. Junior brother, thank you for helping me so much. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't even be able to step out of the secular world. Xiao Mei was at a loss for what to do with Chen Hao's unconstrained words. She immediately lowered her head and said in a low voice. Her heart was filled with apprehension and bitterness. Countless fantasies, perseverance, and eternity in her heart, but when she really heard Chen Hao say such words, she still felt extremely uncomfortable. She didn't blame Chen Hao. Perhaps, from the beginning to the end, she had been thinking too much. His talent and realm exceeded hers by 100 or 1,000 times. She would look up to such a person for her entire life. How could they be together? What Xiao Mei didn't expect was that Chen Hao suddenly held her waist and asked softly, "Do you want to become stronger?" Xiao Mei's body stiffened, and her heartbeat instantly increased by several times. She raised her head and looked at Chen Hao, then avoided his gaze, but said, "Yes. Of course, I think about it all the time. Sister Mei, there's a very simple way for you to become stronger quickly, but you'll have to pay a huge price." "What way?" "Be my woman and dual cultivate with me. The price is very high. Sister Mei, are you willing?" "Junior brother, you don't dislike me?" The gap between us is too big, too woo." Chen Hao directly covered Xiao Mei's mouth, using his actions to explain. He was very clear that Xiao Mei felt inferior in front of him. If he didn't take the initiative to point it out, who knew how long he would have to wait? Chen Hao had no reason to let the mature Xiao Mei continue to wait. Her talent had already reached its limit. If this continued, the distance between them would grow further and further, and she would feel even more inferior. Happiness came too suddenly, so suddenly that Xiao Mei couldn't control her tears. If Chen Hao wanted, she would give her everything without holding back. However, Chen Hao didn't take a step further. Enough was enough. "Brother, boss." After resolving Xiao Mei's psychological barrier, Chen Hao's mind merged with the world in his mind. At the same time, he sent out dozens of divine senses, directly awakening Chen Yen, Chen Nan, and the others from their cultivation state. "Brother, did we escape?" Chen Nan asked. For more than 2 months, in such a blessed cultivation environment, coupled with the help of Chen Hao's great Tao Sanskrit mantra, everyone had entered the state of thoughtless tranquility. Now that they saw Chen Hao again, worry immediately welled up in their hearts. "Don't worry, we've escaped," Chen Hao said with a slight smile. "Boss, that was a restriction formed by the Supreme Being of Hongmeng. We actually escaped," Huyen Aobua said excitedly. Everyone looked at Chen Hao with eyes full of shock and joy. "Not only did we escape, the people who captured you were also turned into ashes, along with the Happy Valley. Well, I'll send you out first. When my matter is settled, you can come in to cultivate. Brother, although I don't know how you have a great world in your mind now, I know that we can more or less help you in your great world. Can we not go out? Chen Nan suddenly said. Yes, boss, I don't want to go out. We already know that the person who will duel with you this time is the #1 expert of the heaven immortal realm in the vast universe star system. Although our strength is weak, it is more or less useful. Huyen Aobo said. Yes. Boss, are you afraid that we will consume the resources of your great world? Jing Tiangang said. Boss, let us stay here. The first king said in a deep voice. I'm not going out. Everyone had already learned the reason from Bai Zhijing and the 4 brothers of the Wan family since they were captured and rescued by Chen Hao. At the same time, they were also aware of Chen Hao's current situation. At this moment, they could vaguely guess why Chen Hao asked them to leave his great world in his mind. After all, just as Huyen Aobo said, Chen Hao's opponent was the #1 expert of the heaven immortal realm in the vast universe star system, a true invincible heaven immortal. Moreover, the opponent was a disciple of the #1 family in the vast universe star system, the Xiao family. No matter how strong Chen Hao was, he was not confident in facing such a powerful existence. If they were in Chen Hao's mind, if something happened to Chen Hao, they would all be buried with him. Stop fooling around. With your current cultivation, you won't be of much help to me. Instead, you'll tie me down and affect my performance. I'm alone. Even if my mind space collapses, I won't necessarily die. Trust me. Chi. Chen Hao's divine consciousness surged, turning into beams of light that immediately wrapped around everyone. Immediately, Chen Yan, Chen Nan, and the others disappeared from Chen Hao's great world in his mind at the same time. When they reappeared, they were already in the space of the aircraft that Old God had transformed into. Everyone entered an independent space. You guys can stay here and cultivate for a while. Wait for my return. Chen Hao transmitted to everyone at the same time. Old God, your mission is to protect them. Also, help them cultivate. Is that okay? No problem. It's just that, Master, you really don't need me? With me here, I can at least increase your battle strength by 30%. Moreover, although I've already opened the last layer and can exist independently for a while, I'm still your life treasure. I can't stay for long and we can't be separated too far. Just wait for me outside East Flow City. Don't be discovered by experts. In 3 days, the East Flow City fleet will arrive. I'll follow the fleet to East Flow City. I don't have much confidence in this battle. It's not about Xiao Yan, but the power behind him. If something happens to me, you'll have to choose another master. I know you can exist independently. It's just that you haven't reached the realm you need. Don't hide this from me. Master. Alright, I admit it, but I've truly recognized you as my master. I don't have any intention of harming you. I know. Moreover, you're not an artifact spirit. Treat me as a brother, and do as I say. Can't we not fight? We've already rescued them. At worst, we'll just hide for a while. The arrow is knocked on the bowstring. Although it's said that taking a step back is better than taking a step back, there are some things that can never be backed down. Old God, you go. I have a feeling that in a life or death situation, the restriction I set to transform into a mortal will disappear. Once it reunites, there's a 90% chance of stepping into Daluo Jinxian. The situation isn't that pessimistic. The reason I'm doing this is because I don't want them and you to take risks with me. This time, I feel that I'm about to face a great calamity. Sorry, I'm outside these 2 days, so I can't fix the update time. The update is late. Chapter 887. Even Chen Hao did not expect that the conflict with many geniuses in the primitive mystic realm would escalate to the current situation. Especially with the addition of the Xiao family, the number one family in the vast universe galaxy, Chun Hao had no confidence in his situation. He had known that his father was not simple and that it was an era where everything depended on one's father. However, his father had not appeared until now. Moreover, after inquiring from many sources, Chun Hao clearly understood the strength of the Shao family. Even if his father appeared, he would not be able to turn the tide. The only person he could rely on was himself. Chun Hao was not afraid. No matter how strong Xiao Yan was, he was only a heaven immortal. So what if he was called the number one expert in the heaven immortal realm? However, Chun Hao was afraid that the other party would secretly do something. Now, he was not alone. 3 days later, when the East Flow City fleet entered the vast universe star, Chun Hao returned to the original aircraft with Fan Shaoqing. No one knew about their departure and return except for the captain and steward of the Fan family. Beep beep beep. As soon as Chun Hao entered the VIP room, he logged into the second world with his real identity. Instantly, a series of message notifications appeared in his mind. Long Ting, Long Yi Du Jing, Pan Long, Lan Feng, Pan Donglu, Pan Dongxing, Hu Mainyang, Senior Brother Gu Chun, and the others. After reading everyone's messages, Chun Hao felt a warmth in his heart. He immediately contacted Senior Brother Gu Chun. Junior Brother, you're finally here. About the Happy Valley, I know. They're all right. Senior Brother, don't worry. In the video, Gu Chen's eyes shone with excitement as he stared at Chun Hao and asked, "That's good, that's good. Junior Brother, are you really the master of the vast universe galaxy, Senior Chun Hao?" Now, speculation about Chun Hao's identity had already spread among the upper echelons of the vast universe galaxy. It was not difficult for Gu Chun, who was already the Daluo Jinxian, to know this news. It was rumored that the Happy Valley turned into ashes overnight. Dozens of experts from the Bai and Wan families died, and countless disciples from the Happy Valley died. It was done by the person behind Chun Hao. I think so. Senior Brother, what's the situation on planet Wuji now? Guan Nanchao, Lu Qingyang, me, and your second Senior Brother have already rushed to East Flow City at the request of the Valley Master of the Valley of Happiness and the Alliance's Law Enforcement Hall. They want to settle their grudges with you here. Junior Brother, if possible, have your father think of a way to stop this battle. Xiao Yan, I saw it. Although he's a celestial immortal, he's definitely not someone an ordinary Daluo Jinxian can contend against. His aura and pressure made me feel like I couldn't resist, Gu Chen said tentatively. Even he himself felt that it was unlikely. After all, if the Shao family wanted to intervene, it would be to use Chun Hao's battle with the Valley of Happiness to stir up trouble. Now, the whole world knew about it. If Chun Wuliang wanted to suppress this, then he would have to make a concession. This was a game between high-level figures. Everyone knew what it meant to make a concession. The Shao family was the ruler of half of vast universe galaxy. If Chun Wuliang were to make a concession, then that would only be because of his status as a ruler. At that time, the number one family, the Shao family, would truly be able to cover the sky with one hand. Chun Hao shook his head and said, Senior Brother, tell second Senior Brother, Guan Nanchao, Lu Qingyang, and the others not to say anything else. You just have to fulfill the 10-year agreement. Don't worry about anything else. I'll think of something. After hanging up Gu Chen's call, Chun Hao called Hu Mainyang again. Ever since he transformed into a mortal in the primal mystic realm, he hadn't seen her again. Hu Mainyang's appearance hadn't changed at all. Although she didn't need to disguise herself in front of Chun Hao, her innate charm and the temperament shaped by the Secular Heart Sutra still made Chun Hao feel stunned when he saw her again. After the call connected, the two of them stared at each other for a full half a minute. Seeing that Chun Hao still hadn't said anything, Hu Mainyang finally couldn't help but take the initiative to ask, Were you behind the incident at Happy Valley? I'm in the fleet. Where would I have the time? The speed of your aircraft is time. Others may not know, but I know. Then I want that ability too, right? One of the 6 great Hongmeng Supremes. Forget it. You have mastered a power that doesn't belong to any divine ability or law. Or rather, it doesn't belong to this universe. Don't think I don't know. It doesn't matter if you admit it or not. I want to tell you not to underestimate Xiao Yan. The Xiao family is the #1 family in the vast universe galaxy. Since ancient times, no one has been able to shake them, not even the 4th strongest ruler of the vast universe galaxy. This is because of the Xiao family's supreme technique and the existence of the Xiao family's ancestor. After hundreds of millions of years, the Xiao family's ancestor still hasn't died. Now, several of the Xiao family's grand elders have successfully severed their Dao. Hu Mainyang paused and avoided Chen Hao's gaze. Then, she continued, I'm sorry. Sorry? That's enough. It has nothing to do with you. I can only support you on behalf of myself. The ruler hasn't woken up yet, but I believe he'll wake up when we reach the vast universe galaxy. You don't have to worry about anything. The only thing you can do is survive the battle with Xiao Yan. I won't advise you to run away. Although you have the ability, you won't run away. Xiao Yan is very strong. You have to deal with him with all your strength. You still have a chance of winning. Also, he has 9 lives. 9 lives? What do you mean? Don't worry about how strong his background is. If your father is Chen Wuliang, he won't be much weaker. Just kill him. Even if his body and soul are destroyed 8 times, he still won't die. If you win the battle, they won't have an excuse to deal with you openly for the time being. They can only do it in secret. When the time comes, your father should have made arrangements. The key will depend on your battle, Hu Mainyang said. Unlike Chen Hao, Hu Mainyang's understanding of the situation in the vast universe galaxy was unparalleled among the younger generation. After all, the nature of the Misty Rain Pavilion determined that she had to know more than others. Even if his body and soul are destroyed, he still won't die? Chen Hao nodded and asked with a little surprise. I learned about it from the secret records of the Misty Rain Pavilion. It's said that the Xiao family's ancestor has existed since the birth of our universe. Up until now, many almighty experts and even true immortals have fallen and disappeared, but the Xiao family's ancestor has always existed. Every time the world thinks that the Xiao family's ancestor is dead and wants to make a move against the powerful Xiao family with a rich foundation, the Xiao family's ancestor will appear. He has 9 lives and 9 incarnations. They are true incarnations. The death of any one of them won't affect his foundation. Every 10 million years, such a person would appear in the Xiao clan. Although there is no clear information about Xiao Yan, he should be. In the past, he became the youngest celestial immortal in the vast universe galaxy. He had experienced countless life and death situations, and almost all of them were life or death situations. But just when everyone thought he had fallen, he would reappear. There is no other explanation other than the theory of 9 lives. Chapter 888. Soon after, Chen Hao contacted Du Jing, Lan Feng, Pan Long, Pan Dong Current, Pan Dongxing, Li Yang and Chen Ling, who had obtained the spirit helmet. After knowing what they had done during this period of time and the support they had received, Chen Hao heaved a sigh of relief. Although the forces behind Du Jing, Lan Feng, and the members of Ao Tian could not compete with the Xiao family, they were still a powerful force. In addition, the experts of the Manhuang tribe, who had been hiding behind Pan Long for tens of millions of years, had all come out. Even if they could not compete with the Xiao family, they could still play a role in restraining them. Personal strength, background, foundation. After cutting off the connection, Chen Hao took a deep breath and clenched his fist. The current situation made Chen Hao thirst for power even more. Originally, when Chen Hao and the others had killed many heavenly immortal geniuses in the primitive secret realm, no one had taken it seriously. Not to mention the forces behind Pan Long, Du Jing, Lan Feng, and the others. Even the forces developed by Ao Tian's members couldn't be compared to the Bai family or the Wan family. However, the appearance of the Shao family, who controlled half of the vast universe galaxy, broke the balance. The forces that Chen Hao and the others could use were much smaller. Many sects chose to wait and see. There was no other reason. The Shao family was too powerful and terrifying. Daluo Jingxian, Supreme Hongmeng, Dao Severing True Immortal. Ao Tian. When I reach the peak of martial arts, I will let Ao Tian rule the world. Thinking of Ao Tian's glory in the primitive secret realm, Chen Hao's blood surged. Although he and Proud Heaven were nothing in the vast universe galaxy right now and weren't even inferior to a small sect, at this moment, Chen Hao truly had the idea of establishing Proud Heaven as a peak influence within the vast universe galaxy. He wasn't a single person. No matter how strong a single person was, they were ultimately limited. If he didn't want those around him to be bullied, then the only way was to become the strongest. Phew, after a long sigh, Chen Hao called Long Ting. Brother Hao! Sister Ting, what's the situation with Xiao Shui and the others? Chen Hao asked directly. Long Ting and Chen Shui were in the same aircraft. Although Chen Shui and the other women couldn't contact Chen Hao in the second world, they could communicate with Long Ting through Chen Shui's real body. When they entered the second world, they were still sealed off from the outside world. They've already contacted the person in charge of them, but they still haven't responded. But Brother Hao, Little Snow said that there shouldn't be any problems. Once we reach the vast universe galaxy, we might be able to regain our freedom. After all, on the surface, they and Heavenly Lord Yuanru are controlled by the Asian Ing Star Alliance as a bargaining chip for your promise of 10 years. I'm afraid it's not that simple. Forget it, that's all we can do for now. Try to contact the person who was in charge of them. If we can't contact them, someone else will take over. Don't resist and wait for my news. Chi. Rumble Vast Universe Planet, Vast Universe City Alliance Headquarters. In a cultivation palace of a heavenly immortal realm expert, the door suddenly opened with a rumble. An old man sitting cross-legged in the palace suddenly opened his eyes. He stared at the dazzling light and murmured, "It's been 10 years. It opened at this time. It seems that junior brother is safe and sound. He came to keep the promise after all." Sigh, the old man sighed in his heart. Yuanru, let's go. Chi. A shackle condensed from magic power directly locked onto the old man, who was Heavenly Lord Yuanru. Who are you? Heavenly Lord Yuanru's expression changed slightly. Although he had been under house arrest for the past 10 years, the cultivation environment provided to him was incomparable to that of the Wuji Star. Moreover, after he put aside all the complicated matters of the Wuji Star and devoted himself to cultivation without distraction, the barrier that had imprisoned him for thousands of years finally loosened. Heavenly Lord Yuanru was sure that it wouldn't be long before he could trigger divine punishment and step into the realm of Daluo Jingxian. Heavenly Lord Yuanru had long guessed that such treatment had something to do with Chen Hao. However, he didn't expect that when the 10 years came, he would be restrained. Moreover, it was a power he couldn't resist. It doesn't matter who we are. What's important is that no one can violate the rules of the Alliance. Not even the controller. All the resources you have consumed in these 10 years will be recovered. Take them away. Heavenly Lord Yuanru had no room to resist at all. He couldn't resist at all and was torn apart by the person who came. At the same time, in East Flow City, where Chen Shui, Helian Wuzi, Tantai Lian, Xia Yuyu, the siblings, and the others were waiting for them to return from the primitive mystic realm, there were also experts from the Grand Mist Supremacy realm present, waiting for their return. Chi. Buzz. Are they back? When the first aircraft from the fleet that returned from the primitive mystic realm tore through the space barrier and entered the space of vast universe star, Chen Wuliang, who was sitting cross-legged in a palace deep in the sacred palace, slowly opened his eyes. His bright eyes seemed to pierce through time and space as he looked at the endless void. "Old brother Xiao, it's time for you to come out of seclusion. Otherwise, if you can't pass on your legacy, don't blame my son." Chen Wuliang looked in the direction of the Xiao family and said indifferently, "Haha, old brother Wuliang, your godson is 70% similar to you back then, but he's even more arrogant. Xiao Yan has already comprehended the true essence of the 9 lives inheritance. If he can destroy it, then he's capable. That Yi fellow couldn't do anything to me back then and transformed into the second world. Your godson is Ye's grandson, right? He can't do anything to Xiao Yan either. If he dies, don't blame me." Shortly after, an old and faintly discernible voice traveled through time and space and floated to Chen Wuliang's ears. The two of them seemed to be talking face to face. "Does that mean I'm responsible for my own life and death?" Chen Wuliang's eyes flashed. "You can think of it that way. Then what about suppressing others with your power and trying to seize my position as controller? That's up to you. That Yi fellow and I will fight sooner or later. As long as you don't destroy the foundation of the Xiao family, it's fine. We won't help either side. Your godson is ruthless enough to use an extraterrestrial civilization to destroy Happy Valley. You should remind him that he can't do anything he wants. In this universe, one must abide by the laws of the universe. The laws of the universe are the foundation. An extraterrestrial civilization is nothing but an unorthodox path. It won't be able to achieve anything great." "Old brother Xiao, your words aren't kind. If your Xiao family hadn't pushed him too far, would my son have done that? This has nothing to do with my Xiao family. It was the Wan family and the Bai family who took the lead. Xiao Yan only accepted the invitation." "Aren't you embarrassed to say that? Haha, isn't that the truth? The Xiao family's influence is great, but it wasn't the Xiao family who initiated it." "Fine. I finally understand why Brother Yi and you can't coexist. I don't mind telling you, Brother Yi might reach nirvana in another 1,000 years or so. At that time, you'll suffer. Haha, an unorthodox path. So what if the power of faith gathered from all the cultivators in the vast universe galaxy? Alright, I've said what I needed to say. You can do as you see fit and don't disturb me. Damn it, 1,000 years. As the Xiao family patriarch's voice faded, Chen Wuliang shook his head. Even though he was a Tao-severing cultivator, there was nothing he could do to the Xiao family patriarch. Although he was the master of the vast universe galaxy, the ones who truly guarded it were the Xiao family patriarch and the fourth master of the vast universe galaxy, the master of the second world. At his current level, Chen Wuliang could talk to the two of them as equals, but it was impossible for him to suppress them. And this was when both of them were in the dormant period. Qi. His terrifying divine sense instantly spread throughout the entire vast universe galaxy. All living beings, all things in the world, were under Chen Wuliang's cold gaze. At this moment, the elders of the top sects in the vast universe galaxy looked up at the sky. There awake, the Xiao family had sacrificed over 100 Grand Mist Supremacy Realm Grand Elders who had long since gone into seclusion. Only 12 of them had successfully severed their Tao-severing cultivators and advanced to the true immortal realm. They opened their eyes at the same time. 1. Congratulations to everyone for smoothly returning to East Flow City. All the major chambers of commerce of East Flow City welcome everyone to participate in the 3-month auction exchange. In addition, on behalf of East Flow City's fan family, I sincerely invite everyone to be guests of the fan family. The hotels of East Flow City are already packed with people. All the top forces and masters of the vast universe galaxy have gathered in East Flow City. As for the reason, I believe many of you already know. This is a rare event in the vast universe galaxy. I believe everyone will not be disappointed. Are you bragging? Our East Flow City is just an ordinary city on the vast universe star for the ancient magic treasures on our bodies. Just say so. Why do you have to boast so much? Brother, it looks like you've been in seclusion all this time? Don't you know about the 10-year battle between the killing god Chen Hao and the Ing planet's Happy Valley? The battle has already been set at East Flow City, and the heavenly immortal realm master that the Happy Valley has invited is our vast universe galaxy's #1 family, the Shao family's Shao Yin. I'm not bragging. Right now, East Flow City is 100 times more lively than vast Universe City. Ah! As the captain's voice sounded out from the East Flow City Fleet's spacecraft, all the cultivators in the spacecraft began to seethe with excitement. They had returned from the primal mystic realm with a bountiful harvest and were excited to be able to hold their heads high within their sections. They were also looking forward to the battle between the killing god Chen Hao and the invincible heavenly immortal Shao Yin. This was especially true of Chen Hao's spacecraft. When Chen Hao slowly walked out, all the cultivators in the spacecraft began to seethe with excitement. Heavenly immortal realm. He was only a heavenly immortal, but he had caused the entire vast universe star system to tremble. Perhaps only the killing god Chen Hao could accomplish this. Many of the cultivators who didn't understand the situation thought that Chen Hao's freakish talent and combat strength were the reason. Secondly, Chen Hao had an enormous amount of treasures on him that were priceless. Thirdly, the battle between Chen Hao and the #1 family Shao Yin, a monstrous genius, and the influence of Shao Yin on the family Shao Yin. There were many other reasons that had led to this grand occasion. Chen Hao had just walked to the exit of the spacecraft when an Alliance enforcer with a terrifying aura locked onto Chen Hao. The Alliance bears witness that the time of your battle with the Happy Valley has passed. Now you must fulfill the agreement. The location will be set at the Alliance Central Plaza in East Flow City. You have 3 days to prepare. Any objections? Chapter 889. The man who spoke was the leader of the Ya-Ing planet's law enforcement team, who had agreed to the duel between Chen Hao and the Valley of Happiness. Now that he had the support of the Wan family, the Bai family, and other top forces, as well as the intervention of the Shao family, the #1 family on the vast universe planet, he was confident again. No, Chen Hao said calmly. Shouldn't you release my people now? Don't worry, they will be released when the duel starts. Besides, you know their current situation. However, they should be on their way to East Flow City. To avoid unnecessary trouble, you'd better come with us. Come with you? I'm not a captive, this is a duel. Chen Hao, you violated the law of order of the Ya-Ing planet first. This is a duel in name, but it's a punishment. How dare you disobey? Are your eyes blind? If I want to fight, I'll fight. If I want to avoid it, do you think you can stop me? Get lost. Qi. Junior brother, Chen Hao, Gu Chen, Guan Nanchao, and the others were also in the welcoming party. When they saw Chen Hao rushing toward the law enforcement team, they immediately shouted in panic. The leader of the Ya-Ing planet's law enforcement team was Daluo Jinxian, who was at the peak of the late stage. Chen Hao's provocation was really unwise. Besides, in their opinion, Chen Hao was just a heaven immortal. Although his combat strength was terrifying, it was impossible for him to surpass Daluo Jinxian's peak of the late stage. You're courting death. Boom. When the leader of the law enforcement team saw Chen Hao rushing toward him arrogantly, blood rushed to his head. After all, he was Daluo Jinxian's peak of the late stage and a law enforcement officer. How could he allow a puny heaven immortal to offend him in public? Although he knew that Chen Hao was not an ordinary heaven immortal, he was too lazy to think too much at this time. He had come with the sword from above, and was in a difficult position. Since he had chosen a side, he could only help the tiger to the end. Idiot. Huh. What the leader of the law enforcement officers and everyone else did not expect was that the seemingly violent Chen Hao suddenly disappeared and turned into nothingness when he was about to clash head-on with his opponent. At the place where Chen Hao had been standing, Chen Hao's disdainful voice rang out. With a slight sway of his body, he headed straight for a warship in the distance. Boss. Brother Hao. The East-Flowing sect and Long Ting stood in front of Chen Shui to protect her. They were confronting a Hongmeng supreme law enforcer. This law enforcer obviously did not belong to the Asian Ing planet. Of course, he did not belong to the East-Flowing City Alliance. Chi. And at this time, the masters of the East Flow City Alliance appeared like bolts of lightning. Their figures emitting terrifying auras and majestic auras landed around Chen Hao and the others. Who dares to cause trouble in the East-Flowing City Alliance? To everyone's surprise, the leader of the Grand Mist Supremacy realm of the East-Flowing City Alliance did not look coldly at Chen Hao, Chen Shui, and Long Ting, but at the law enforcement officers who were enforcing the law across regions. Fourth Grandpa. The East-Flowing sect's tense brows relaxed as he called out in a low voice. The old man was the elder of the East-Flowing City Alliance, the fourth son of the head of the Fan family, Fan Lang. Fan Lang nodded slightly to the East-Flowing sect, Chen Hao, and the others. East-Flowing sect, take little brother Chen Hao and the others back to the Fan family. The head of the family has prepared a feast. Fan Lang, what do you mean? Don't you know that we are enforcing the law? The Hongmeng Supreme Law Enforcer who stopped Chen Shui was not afraid at all. He looked dissatisfied and arrogant as he stared at the old man. This is East-Flowing City. How can it be your turn to enforce the law? And they are the honored guests of the East-Flowing City Alliance and the Fan family. Are you qualified? I am not qualified, but I am under orders from the headquarters of the Grand Mist Star Alliance. Headquarters? Whose orders? Are they higher than the orders of the Grand Mist Star System's master? If not, then scram with me. Fan Lang took out a token and said coldly. Let's go. Go? Once the token is out, it's like the master is here in person. Why aren't you kneeling? The person who came was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Especially when he saw the countless young cultivators gathered around and pointing at him, his old face turned red. In any case, he did not expect that Fan Lang would come with the Master Chen Wuliang's token. But now, he had no room to maneuver. He could only endure the humiliation and kneel on the ground. After quickly bowing, he left without saying a word. When Chen Hao saw Fan Lang take out the token, he finally understood why the Fan family was so fierce this time. Previously, when he had just stepped out of the primitive mystic realm, the head of the Fan family had summoned him. But at that time, although the head of the Fan family had expressed his support, he was limited by the strength of the Fan family and could not help much. But now, with the appearance of Chen Wuliang, the Fan family had no scruples. At the same time, Chen Hao also let out a sigh of relief. Not much time had passed. In the city where Helian Wuzi, Tantai Lian, Xia Yuyu, the sisters, and the others had appeared, the same thing happened. The only difference from East Flow City was that in the other cities, the ones who used the ruler tokens to take away the women were elders from the Alliance headquarters law enforcement team. Even the captured Empyrean Yuanru was forcefully rescued by the elders of the Alliance headquarters law enforcement team. Chen Wuliang's counterattack could be said to be without any scruples. After stepping into samsara, he returned to cutting his Tao. After cutting his Tao, he went into seclusion. After waking up, even the Shao family didn't think that Chen Wuliang would dare to openly challenge the Shao family because of Chen Hao. But when Chen Wuliang decisively took action and took away Empyrean Yuanru, Chen Shui, Helian Wuzi, Tantai Lian, Xia Yuyu, the sisters, and the others, by the time the Shao family, Wan family, and Bai family received the news, it was already too late. The news that accompanied it was even more earth-shattering. The high-level figures of Vast Universe Galaxy's Temple Alliance have set a deadline of 3 days to gather at East Flow City for a meeting of the highest level of Vast Universe Star. Those who do not show up will be removed from the high-level figures of the Temple Alliance. All of Vast Universe Galaxy's peak influences, high-level figures, and hidden old undying masters were shaken. Winds rose and clouds surged. A storm was brewing, sweeping through the entire Vast Universe Galaxy. High-level figures, anyone could see that in the near future, Vast Universe Galaxy's high-level figures would inevitably be reshuffled. This also meant that Vast Universe Galaxy's resources and influences would be redistributed. This was Controller Chen Wuliang challenging the Shao family, the #1 family in Vast Universe Galaxy that no one had been able to shake in 1,000,000,000 years. Samsara has been quiet for so many years. Chen Wuliang is still as strong and overbearing as before. It seems that after reaching Cutting Dao, he has the confidence to contend with the Shao family's old ancestor. That's impossible. What kind of character is the Shao family's old ancestor? He's an old undying man who has lived for 1,000,000,000 years. Even our Vast Universe Galaxy's strongest 4th-generation controller, Yi Lan, wasn't able to shake him. Chen Wuliang has only just reached Cutting Dao and reached true immortal. In my opinion, it's possible that the Shao family's old ancestor has already passed away. Only then would Chen Wuliang dare to do this. It's also possible, after all, the Shao family's old ancestor hasn't appeared for at least 10,000,000 years. In any case, Chen Wuliang dares to do this either because of his personality or because he has the confidence to do so. Even though the Shao family's old ancestor has passed away, the Shao family has paid a huge price in the past 2 years because Chen Wuliang succeeded in Cutting Dao. Many of the old undying men have taken the risk of Cutting Dao. It's said that more than 100 ascetic Grand Supreme Elders have died in Cutting Dao, but 12 of them were lucky enough to succeed. After paying such a huge price, they have 12 Cutting Dao experts. Including Chen Wuliang's 2 companions, there are only 3 of them. How can they resist? Yes, in short, it's going to be lively this time. I think it's time for a change in controller. When that time comes, the Shao family will really be able to cover the sky with one hand. It's not that easy. Don't forget how strong Chen Wuliang was before he reached Cutting Dao. I dare not say that he could dominate the universe, but who in Vast Universe Galaxy could rival him? Now that he has successfully reached Cutting Dao, how terrifying will his combat power be? There's one more thing that you've forgotten. What? The second world. The second world. Yes. Don't forget that the second world was created by the strongest controller, Yi Lan. Before Chen Wuliang became the controller, the second world was obstructed by the Shao family and could not be popularized in Vast Universe Galaxy. But after Chen Wuliang ascended, this situation changed and he now has the highest authority over the second world. I believe Yi Lan must have reached an agreement with Chen Wuliang while in Nirvana. This is a terrifying force. Even if Yi Lan is in Nirvana, he is still a character on the same level as the Shao family's ancestor. That makes sense. It seems that we shouldn't make our stance clear for the time being. It's better to play dumb and wait for the dust to settle before we make a decision. How can there be such a good thing in the world? To play it safe means to lose the initiative. Losing the initiative means that it's difficult to even maintain our current position. It's better to make our stance clear in advance and take a gamble. There are risks and benefits. I choose to support the controller, Chen Wuliang. I still think that the Shao family has a better chance of winning. What a headache in the void, in the chaotic space outside of East Flow City, dozens of old men had gathered together, discussing the situation of Vast Universe Galaxy. They all had headaches. Whether it was in the mortal world or the world of cultivation, choosing a side was often done out of helplessness. For the sake of benefits and for the sake of self-preservation, there were many who did so for the sake of gratitude. To put it bluntly, as long as one wasn't a peak character, they were nothing more than a chess piece. These high-level matters weren't something that Chun Hao could know about, nor were they things that ordinary cultivators could know about. However, for a time, East Flow City had become the most lively city in vast universe galaxy. There was no doubt about this. The cultivators that came from vast universe galaxy's 36 stars, as well as the great cities of vast universe star, caused East Flow City's population to reach an unprecedented level. In particular, the cultivators that returned from the primal mystic realm didn't care about the countless merchant associations that tried to win them over and directly rushed to East Flow City. All of this was because of Death God Chun Hao. Those that hadn't gone to the primal mystic realm didn't know just how high Death God Chun Hao's prestige was within the primal mystic realm. They also didn't know just what sort of status Death God Chun Hao and the other members of Proud Heaven held in the hearts of all the human cultivators within the primal mystic realm. Chapter 890. Brother Chun. Boss. We support you. Brother Chun. We also support you. Under Fan Lang's guidance, Long Ting and Chen Shui walked to the left and right of Chun Hao. As they stepped out of the Alliance's aircraft plaza, countless East Flow City disciples that had just returned from the primal mystic realm all cupped their fists and greeted Chun Hao, their expressions filled with excitement. There were also a few outer members of Proud Heavens who called him Brother Chun. Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing knew each other, but only a few knew Chun Hao. This situation made Fan Lang, a Hongming supremacy, exclaim in his heart. Not to mention those who took the initiative to greet Chun Hao. Just by looking at the way everyone looked at Chun Hao, one could feel the status of Chun Hao in the hearts of these people. Fan Lang, a primordial Grand Mist sovereign, was walking together with Huang Xiaolong, yet he was ignored by these young disciples. What kind of prestige was this? At least Fan Lang had never felt it before. Thank you. Thank you. Chun Hao was also slightly moved, and he cupped his fists all the way. Even he did not expect that these cultivators, who he did not know at all, would worship and be so enthusiastic about him. God of Slaughter Chun Hao. In a corner of the aircraft plaza, a figure who had disguised his appearance and aura stared at Chun Hao, who was winning from both sides, and murmured, "What a powerful soul! Unfortunately, it hasn't even reached the peak of the late stage of Heaven Immortal, let alone the perfect stage. Humph, what's there to be proud of? Except for being a little handsome, how can he be compared with Brother Xiao? His aura is not even as good as mine. Handsome? How can he be more handsome than Brother Xiao? Ahem. Yes, I mean, he's just more handsome than me. Compared with Brother Xiao, he's inferior in all aspects. However, his woman is really stunning. I really don't know, how did he dominate the primal secret realm and make so many people believe in him? It seems that the Earth Immortal Stage foreign race genius who entered back then was not that good at all. Next to the figure, a few young experts at the peak of the late Heaven Immortal Stage with powerful aura were also staring at Chun Hao from afar, and they were full of disdain. These figures were Xiao Yan and his followers. That's enough. He's not as simple as you think. Xiao Yan narrowed his eyes and berated. However, no matter how strong he is, he can't escape from my palm. Humph, even though the controller was so high profile, he still couldn't stop the battle of 10 years. There was only one result for him, death. Let's go. After Xiao Yan finished speaking, he quickly left with several people. After seeing Chun Hao with his own eyes, even though he knew that Chun Hao had concealed his aura, Xiao Yan still believed in his keen senses and intuition. The god of slaughter Chun Hao was no match for him. Senior, is the controller in the Fan family? Chen Hao could not help but ask when they finally walked out of the aircraft plaza and entered the teleportation circle inside the city. However, Chen Hao only called him controller and not father. Up until now, Chen Hao was almost certain that Chen Hai was Chen Wuliang. But until he saw him in person, he still couldn't be sure. The controller has an important matter to deal with in the East Flow City Alliance. However, the two true immortals Han Mei and Shui Mei are waiting for your return in the Fan family. Mother, hearing Fan Lang's words, Chen Hao showed a touch of excitement. Han Mei, Shui Mei, two true immortals. Wasn't Shui Mei his mother? Thinking of his mother's appearance, the softest part of Chen Hao's heart would be touched. He would never forget his childhood experience, and even more so, how his mother firmly believed in supporting the family by herself. She went through hardships to raise him and his younger siblings, and even had to take care of his disabled father. At this moment, Chen Hao already knew that those were only one of their lives in the cycle of reincarnation. At this moment, his parents, who had jumped out of the cycle of reincarnation and severed their Tao to become true immortals, might not have any impression of them. However, those were the most precious memories in the depths of Chen Hao's heart. For his mother, for his family, he embarked on the path of cultivation and achieved what he had today. If he knew that Chen Hai was the controller, Chen Hao would more or less feel a little estranged. However, when it came to his mother, he did not feel any estrangement. In Chen Hao's heart, everything was directed by his father to this day. It had been a very long time since he last saw his mother. The last time he saw her was in the mortal world of the eastern continent of the Wuji planet. At that time, his mother was still an ignorant mortal. "Mother, your son can finally see you," Chen Hao said in his heart with an excited expression. Chen Shui's expression was also slightly emotional. Wasn't Han Mei true immortal her mother? When they were in the primitive secret realm, she and Chen Hao had already noticed Han Mei true immortal's abnormality, and guessed a certain possibility. Although she felt wronged and sad at that time, she had already let go of the knot in her heart. After all, reincarnation was reincarnation, something that almost all cultivators could not avoid. Not to mention that Han Mei true immortal was still by her side after awakening, even if she severed the memories of this life. So what? The great Tao was heartless. In order to reach the peak of martial arts, one had to sever their emotions and forget their memories. Too much. Fan family, core palace. Han Mei true immortal and Shui Mei true immortal sat side by side, accompanied by the Fan family's patriarch and senior members. "They're here, Tianzi." Shui Mei true immortal couldn't help but want to stand up, but Han Mei true immortal grabbed her hand. The Fan family's patriarch and senior members all stood up and walked towards the palace door. "Mother." From afar, he saw his mother, who was sitting upright but had an excited expression on her face. Seeing that familiar gaze filled with motherly love, as well as the sparkling tears in her eyes, Chen Hao couldn't control himself anymore. His body flashed, and he suddenly sped up several times. He didn't even have time to bow to the Fan family's patriarch and the others, and directly rushed to his mother. Although his mother was already a high and mighty true immortal, her appearance was still the same as when Chen Hao last saw her. That gaze, that expression, if it wasn't a mother looking forward to her son's return, who could it be? Chen Hao knew very well what this meant. A true immortal's mother. It was impossible for her to still have the appearance of a reincarnated mortal, but now she appeared in this appearance. Mother. Plop. Chen Hao directly knelt in front of his mother, tears soaking his eyes. There was no trace of the god of slaughter Chen Hao's appearance. But he didn't care, and didn't care about any image. In front of his mother, he was only a son, an unfilial son who ran away from home for many years. Tianzi, Shui Mei true immortal leaned over, trembling, and held Chen Hao's shoulders. "Mother, I finally see you again. Quickly get up, Let mother take a good look at you. Little Shui. Mother. Chen Shui wasn't as emotional as Chen Hao, nor did she kneel down. She only threw herself into Han Mei True Immortal's arms, but turned her pretty face, looking at Chen Hao and Shui Mei True Immortal. Little Shui, mother left without saying goodbye. Are you angry with mother? Angry. Chen Shui pursed her lips and said, but the little hand that hugged Han Mei True Immortal tightened a little. Han Mei True Immortal smiled, and also looked at Chen Hao and Shui Mei. She said, How after seeing mother, you forgot your master, right? Sister, should Tianci call you master, mother-in-law, concubine, or aunt? Hearing Han Mei True Immortal's words, Chen Hao, who was excited, was a little embarrassed. Shui Mei wiped the corner of her eyes and helped Chen Hao out. She said, Little Shui, should I call you aunt, second mother, or mother-in-law? This was a difficult question for Han Mei. Calling her master was naturally not a problem, mother-in-law was also not a problem, concubine was also completely correct, and aunt was also not a bad thing. It had to be said, whether it was Chen Hao or Chen Shui, it was a very complicated matter to call each other's mother. What should they call each other? At this time, the head of the Fan family and others tactfully left the palace. At the same time, they felt very strange about the relationship between Chen Hao and Chen Shui and the two true immortals. Fortunately, Fan Donglu and Fan Dongxing were clear about the situation, so they understood what was going on. Let them call me whatever they want, it's just a name. I'll call you master, I'm used to it. At this time, Chen Hao had also calmed down. He hugged his mother and smiled at Han Mei True Immortal. After a slight hesitation, Chen Shui bowed and said in a low voice, Greetings, Auntie. Hee. The two true immortals were fine, but Long Ting, who was standing behind Chen Shui, laughed out loud. This is Little Ting, right? So beautiful. True immortal Shui Mei looked at Long Ting dotingly and asked, Greetings, mother-in-law, your daughter-in-law pays her respects to you. Long Ting took the initiative to hug true immortal Shui Mei's arm and said intimately. Her face was not red, she was not panting, and she was not nervous at all. Chen Shui and Chen Hao could not help but admire this girl's shamelessness. Good, what a straightforward girl. Mother likes it, just call me mother in the future. How you were the one who did the Happy Valley thing, right? After Chen Hao, Chen Shui, and Long Ting sat down, Mei True Immortal directly looked at Chen Hao and asked, Tianci, where are Little Yen, Little Nan, and the others? True Immortal Shui Mei asked. Master, Mother, I'll call them over. Chen Hao patted his head and said. His father, mother, and Master Han Mei True Immortal Shui had all arrived. Now, no matter how bold the Bai and Wan families were, they would not dare to do anything to them. Chen Hao suddenly released an extremely powerful soul force, which instantly dissipated into the void. Outside East Flow City, the old god was hiding in the void, waiting for news. He was slightly startled. He could clearly sense Chen Hao's summons. This was the connection between the two of them through the power of their contract. What's going on? Could it be that Master has already solved the problem? Faced with the increasing number of experts in East Flow City, even the old god did not dare to rashly investigate. After arriving in the wilderness outside East Flow City, he had remained hidden, completely restraining his aura. He knew nothing of what was happening in East Flow City. Should be Qi. The old god silently disappeared from where he was, tearing through the void at an astonishing speed. He quickly headed in the direction Chen Hao had summoned him. Master! At the same time, Little Wisdom One, which had returned with the fleet, respectfully called out in Chen Hao's mind. Go pick up the old god and the others. Replace him and bring him here. Yes, Master. 1. A light flashed between Chen Hao's eyebrows, and Little Wisdom One immediately flew out from between his eyebrows and tore through the void. Chapter 891. How, what's going on? Chen Shui and Long Ting were puzzled. They had no idea that Chen Hao had left the Alliance fleet during the 6 months he had spent in the vast universe star system. They also didn't know that Chen Nan, Chen Yen, and the others had been captured by the Bai and Wan families. They knew that the Happy Valley had been destroyed overnight, and countless people had died. However, like most people, they thought it was Chen Wuliang, the controller, who had done it. I arrived at the Ye-Ing planet 3 months in advance. The Wan and Bai families captured Xiao Nan, Xiao Yen, Ao Bo, First King, and the others. Even Sister Mei, Buttface, and Xiao Ling weren't spared. Chen Hao explained briefly. How did you do it? According to the information I found, there were 6 Hongmeng Supremes sealing them. But you, with one move, not only did you break the seal to save them, but you also scared off the 6 Hongmeng Supremes. Han Mei True Immortal couldn't help but ask. She knew Chen Hao quite well. From the information that Chen Wuliang had gathered, she was basically sure that Chen Hao was behind the incident at Happy Valley. However, she still did not know how he had done it. Master, that was a small toy I made with countless precious treasures. I don't have the ability to fight against the Hongmeng Supremes. Chen Hao said. Small toy? What kind of small toy could be so powerful? It's similar to the method I used to make the aircraft. It's basically outside the scope of the law of divine power. I see. Han Mei True Immortal frowned slightly. By now, she already knew that Chen Hao was a life form from another universe, and she was curious about what kind of world it was. However, this involved Chen Hao's greatest privacy, so even she couldn't ask directly. However, Chen Hao's current situation made Han Mei True Immortal ponder. An hour later, Chen Nan, Chen Yen, and the others were taken to the Fan family. After some excitement, they all attended the welcoming banquet prepared by the Fan family for Chen Hao and the others. Although Han Mei and Shui Mei True Immortals were slightly worried about the battle between Chen Hao and Xiao Yen, no one mentioned it from the beginning to the end. The two of them had learned from Chen Wuliang that this was unavoidable. There were only 3 days for Chen Hao to calm himself down and adjust himself. There was no point in talking too much, and it might even affect his mood. Chen Hao, the 2 elders, the higher-ups of the Fan family, and many brothers and sisters of different realms, as well as the first senior brother, second senior brother, Lu Qingyang, Guan Nanchao, and the others from the Wuji planet, drank until late at night. When they finally finished, they returned to the palace that the Fan family had specially arranged for Chen Hao. Looking at the huge cultivation room full of restrictions and top-level facilities, Chen Hao sat down cross-legged and let out a long sigh. Master. Chen Shaoqing appeared beside Chen Hao obediently and gently massaged Chen Hao's shoulders. Originally, Chen Hao had left Chen Shaoqing on the Alliance's battleship and asked her to follow the Fan family's captain and manager to wait for him there. After all, until now, Chen Shaoqing was still Chen Hao's secret to Chen Shui, Long Ting, and the others. Even though Chen Hao knew that the girls wouldn't do anything to him after learning of Chen Shaoqing's existence, Chen Hao still had to consider the girls' feelings and find the right time to let Chen Shaoqing appear. Now was not the right time to be in such a mess. Master arranged for me to wait here for Master. Chen Shaoqing said softly, Master? I want to go into your great world, not now. Wait until after my battle with Xiao Yen. Chen Hao turned around and pulled Chen Shaoqing into his arms. Master, whether dead or alive, Shaoqing will follow you. Let Shaoqing go in, it's only 3 days. This battle will definitely be difficult. I don't know what will happen then. If it affects the great world in my mind, but I don't die, but you die, what should I do? Be obedient. I understand your intentions, but this isn't the time to let your emotions affect your decisions. Come, let your big brother relax. Chen Hao's lips curved up in a smile. Chen Xiaoqing's small face blushed red, but she revealed a touch of excitement. She obediently stretched out her small hand towards Chen Hao. There was no dual cultivation, only pure venting of primitive desires. After continuing for 2 hours, Chen Hao had completely discarded all the negative emotions and worries in his heart, and he just held Chen Shaoqing in his arms and entered into the land of dreams. He didn't cultivate any lost skills. He put down all his belongings and fell asleep like a mortal. The night sky was clear and the stars shined brightly. In the massive East Flow City, every corner was still brightly lit. Large and small taverns, even the streets and alleys, including the several thousand-mile-wide mountain ranges near the station of some sects, were all occupied by cultivators from all over the vast universe galaxy. They sat in groups of 3 to 5, drinking and chatting, bustling with noise and excitement. Chi. From time to time, streams of light would streak across the sky, entering East Flow City from afar. There were masters, ordinary cultivators, and occasionally there would be people who emitted a terrifying aura that swept through the world. It was lively, but behind this liveliness, East Flow City was filled with a tense atmosphere. By now, the news that the ruler of vast universe galaxy, Chen Wuliang, had summoned all the high-level figures of the Temple Alliance to East Flow City had spread like wildfire throughout the entire cultivation world. Similarly, 3 days later, the decisive battle between Death God Chen Hao and the #1 invincible heavenly immortal Xiao Yan was also known throughout the city. These two events had occurred at almost the same time in East Flow City. Anyone could guess what the reason was. Countless supreme elder masters and countless young geniuses had gathered. Even though the vast majority of people had concealed their auras, this still caused the skies above East Flow City to be filled with strange phenomena. Late at night, in the skies above the Fan Family's station, there would occasionally be extremely powerful auras that would tear through the void and arrive at the Fan Family's void restrictions. Helian Wuzi, Tantai Lian, Xia Yuyu, and the two beautiful sisters, under the guidance of the Hongmeng Supreme Elders that Chen Wuliang had sent, arrived at the Fan Family. Besides them, Pan Long, Lan Feng, Long Yi, as well as Du Jing, Chun Ling, Li Yang, and the others had also arrived at the Fan Family, meeting up with Chen Shui, Long Ting, Pan Donglu, Pan Dongxing, and the others. In the end, Hu Mainyang actually came hand in hand with Bailey Ningbing. 1. DDD. On this night, even more cultivators who were immersed in the second world suddenly heard an urgent alarm sound in their minds. When all the cultivators opened the message in shock, they were all overwhelmed with shock. The second world's highest order. The second world will be closed for 3 days. All cultivators in the second world, no matter what they were doing, were ordered to leave within 2 hours. Otherwise, they would be forcefully interrupted. This was something that had never happened since the birth of the second world. At the same time, it also made countless people associate this with what was about to happen in East Flow City. Hiss! The moment the second world was closed, in the vast universe star's holy palace, a slight fluctuation suddenly appeared in the depths of the back mountain that was classified as a forbidden area. Apart from the controller, no one could enter. An old man appeared out of thin air. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Nights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.